What's going on, my psychopaths, sociopaths, and general sick sons of bits of the internet? How y'all doing today? Hoping each and every single one of you was doing well. Alright, so I'm back. I'd say it's good to be back, but that'd be a lie, because I've got to watch Phil. Oh lord. What up, Joon? I can't. Julian? I'm gonna say Julian. I think it's Julian. What up, Godzilla? How you doing, Joster? What up, Soul? Hey, Slayer. Oh, Adventure Team. Let's see. Who else? Fucking hell. What up, Chance? Alright. Give me a second. Anyway, hello, Revolver Ocelot. Anyway, I'm not voting for the Game of the Year. They're not, like... First of all, we're Space Marine 2. That's all I need. That's all I really need to ask. That's all you really goddamn need to know.
DarksydePhil.
Ah, cool. The fucking audio actually is working.
DarksydePhil is a game creator and former fighting game aficionado that has existed in the online realm for over 2 decades. He has participated in the inception of Let's Plays, but has hardly evolved alongside them. Where most creators benefit from their window of fame, Phil, through insane spending habits, has almost nothing to show for it. It was only in 2020 that he filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, where the documents revealed his situation being even more insane than previously thought. Due to his off-putting nature in that he will belittle his audience members while simultaneously petitioning them for donations.
I need the money to pay bills, and I need the money to do regular day-to-day shit.
Lie about his finances and inaccurately portray criticisms against him, he has few allies left.
Fucking few allies. He has his live-in maid who isn't really an ally, and then his cat who, you know, fucks around so much.
Content creators, large, small, new, and old, avoid him due to this and the unique community of trolls that follow him. Varying widely in intentions and actions, these trolls share the commonality of hating Phil and archiving his fumbles to great lengths. There exists a spreadsheet that is updated almost daily that tracks nearly every donation, the top donator, when the stream began, and what game was played. That's not all. There are several search engines designed to search his over 70,000 videos that even have options to show the trend of word usage. And of course, a forum with over 280,000 posts discussing him, not including
views! Oh my god!
Usage. And of course, a forum with over 280,000
those fucking views! 34 million!
80,000 posts discussing
Jesus!
Him, not including side threads that would greatly inflate that number. While Phil is covered to great lengths, information is hardly ever centralized or easily consumed, prompting the creation of reasonably shorter videos dissecting different elements of his life. This video, perhaps unreasonably so, will attempt to tackle it all. To the US population at large, November 8, 1998 was a normal day. For the 20-year-old Alex Valle, the American fighting game champion, it was anything but. For the first time ever, the fledgling American fighting game scene was going head-to-head with the somewhat matured Japanese scene that had more financial backing, production and the coverage, and tempering than the Americans. The Japanese champion, Valle's opposition, was the 16-year-old Daigo, who had flown out from Japan to make history. The game, Street Fighter III Alpha, was the medium. This could go any way, though the Japanese had the perceived advantage. That's why Valle's victory in the first match intensified the competition. As the match rules were best 2 out of 3, Valle had to win one more match to be crowned world champion, and so Valle continued his aggressive strategy and tried to put pressure on Daigo. Daigo, however, began adapting and started finding openings, anticipating Valle's attacks. Adaptation was never as important as it was here in the finals. Both sides were exposed to strategies they have never been exposed to within their local competitive scenes. With the advantage on Daigo's court, he won the second match. At this point, the outcome was hardly predictable, as both sides were solidifying their strategies. Daigo had won and become the world champion of the fighting game community, projecting Japan's strength and their competitors as fierce. It was historical moments such as these that emboldened new players to join the competitive environment that had only seen growth. Realistically, the only way one could compete is to join their local arcade scene, if they offered a competitive environment at all. While online play was non-existent, the internet did tend to the community by allowing a quick, cheap, accessible way to promote local or grand-scale events. One of these involved an 18-year-old Phil Burnell. Initially entering the online space with the alias Wo Moses, he adapted other, short-lived nicknames such as Phil Throw Like Hell Burnell, labeled as such for his strategy of using the throw move in Marvel vs. Capcom competitions that was viewed as unbalanced. Quote, everybody said that my victory was so quote-unquote cheap, and that I had no skill, unquote.
Nothing new
Regardless,
there.
Phil was performing well in his local gaming scene in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The next natural step was to attend ECC, or East Coast Championships, that hosted various fighting game competitions. Add to that, he said he would attempt to go. Phil had experience attained through many years spent visiting his local arcades, an experience that would otherwise be described as a fruitless pastime. The elitist nature and other unfavorable qualities that Phil was showing were more acceptable in these communities than they would be in others. And he did have that one thing that made him memorable, his aggression. Quote, I see it every day in my town. These little fucking wimps who call themselves quote-unquote thugs and pretend they're quote-unquote tough mofos. Well, if I ever get into a fight with one of them, hand to hand, I guarantee you I'll be the one standing afterwards. And if they pull a gun on me, I hope they have pretty good aim, because if they don't hit me with the first shot, I'll have already punctured the windpipe and ended their life. Unquote. This was in response to
What the fuck? What is that internet tough guy answer?
already punctured the windpipe and ended their life. Unquote.
Jesus.
This was in response to the general aggression Phil received when utilizing his infamous throw tactics. While Phil's response teeters from excessive to entirely unrealistic, it does expose the way he viewed himself as a macho, hardened, threatening individual. And that's why he chose his new name, DarksydePhil, as a macho,
Look at that face. Yeah, that is the face of a macho man.
hardened, threatening individual. And that's why he chose his new name, Darkside, which was directly influenced by the song Darkside from the band Crazy Town. The reason for the Y in his name in place of the I is to avoid readers thinking that his name was anyway attached to the Star Wars universe, as that would be too nerdy. Phil provides other reasons for his demeanor, such as wanting to act as a heel in this developing space. A heel is someone, typically in wrestling, that is an inconsiderate or untrustworthy person, and due to their distasteful nature, the wrestling community actually enjoys matches with them, as getting trounced on is the ultimate satisfying outcome. And so Darkseid, as he was calling himself, was set on practicing and playing the newly released Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Though his palette was diverse, this is what his sights were set on. But there was an unforeseen issue. The game, released in February 2000, meant that it was untested and would not be at the East Coast Championship. Phil's solution was to make a tourney of his own, at Motel 6, with a $5 entry fee. The results are unknown. What is that Phil was ingraining himself in his local community, and that he just graduated high school as the valedictorian. A valedictorian is the highest-ranking student of a school's graduating class. The bestowment of such a title opened doors of opportunity. Ivy League colleges were in his purview, but he wasn't in theirs.
Yale rejected me, Harvard rejected me. There were 3 of them. I can't even remember what the third one was, but every Ivy League school that I applied to said, no. When you want to know why they rejected me, it's this simple. Because I'm a white male.
Where there is Phil Burnell, there are bound to be inconsistencies and lies. Here he states that it was because he was not racially diverse enough as a reason for not getting in, then later flips the excuse.
Just off of that premise, it wasn't my extracurriculars, it wasn't my academics, it was based off the fact that I wasn't a rich white person.
Another reason Phil provides for not getting in is that he signed up for financial aid, which he claims triggered an immediate rejection from the Ivy League schools. Whatever the case, his future had more potential than most. Throughout it all, he was still going to local tournaments. Here he recounts how the entrants for a local tournament doubled from 16 to 32 in just a year. He won this tournament, and with that, he is losing his potential. To make it big in this flourishing environment, practicing the game would have to encompass his life for nearly the next decade. And to finance the traveling, he took out various credit cards as his job selling yogurt did not provide enough income.
Well, you go to Evo 2K4, the fighting game championship.
700 players from all over the world, Japan, Europe, North America, South America, all over, right?
There's insane competition in the fighting game community, especially from Japan nowadays, and it's like a,
you know, who cares about the Flash? You can leave the Flash there. Make sure the gameplay is solid. No more stupid additions.
Those were moments from Evo 2004. Evo, or Evolution Championship Series, was becoming the end-all be-all for competitions in the fighting game community. Every year, the event grew. It grew rife with competition, controversy, diversity, and of course, increased attendance of DarksydePhil.
East Coast versus West Coast.
No! Hell no!
In this particular moment at Evo 2002, the infamous DarksydePhil was selected as a sort of representative of the East Coast theater. Commentary from the people recording demonstrated how welcome he was.
Phil, you are not East Coast, please.
Phil, you are not East Coast.
As much as Phil promoted his ability, when it came to Evo, the player base was at an entirely different level than he was used to. Losses here were common, and people did not take kindly to his hostility online where he would physically threaten his opposition.
I was the guy who always talked shit. I was the guy who always was like, man, don't get in my face at a tournament. I will fuck you up. I will throw you in the trash can.
Would not.
I used to do that.
But in person, that was a different story.
I mean, online, he would freaking, run his flap and post a lot and respond to everything, but when you see him at the tournaments, he just sits there, he's not doing nothing.
That was Jaha, one of the more hot-headed players that was not—
God damn! Now imagine this, dude. Imagine this fucking unit rolling up on Phil trying to talk his shit. Phil would back the fuck up. In fact, wait a minute, he did.
not afraid of confrontation.
He was talking a bunch of shit against like the top Marvel players. So Shady K was one of them. And Shady K.
No. I'm rather sure. Let's do a little Google search. I believe this is the man. He was also apparently a Marine. I'm trying. Yeah, no, that is if I do believe this is in fact the man. Yeah, no, that picture was not photoshopped. Why? Why would you pick this fight?
Players
and this is him when he was younger. Take that into consideration.
Was not afraid of confrontation.
He was talking a bunch of shit against like the top Marvel players. So Shady K was one of them, and Shady K didn't like him too much because he would like run his mouth so much. I mean, this guy would make posts that were like a mile long. When DSP was leaving with like him and a couple of his boys, that's when it was time to like roll up on him. We followed them outside and we caught him outside, and they were getting up in like, DSP's fucking friends' faces too, just to fucking make sure none of them got crazy, but they were all fucking shitting bricks. He just turns fucking white, and it's funny because he just like talks so much shit on the internet, but when you run into him in fucking person, he's just fucking, turns white as a ghost.
DSP was able to diffuse the situation by paying Shady K, Jaha's friend, $10. They arrived to that amount from a money match that was meant to go 10 rounds for a total of $100, but since it was cut short due to time limitations and DSP only fought and lost a single match, Jaha and his crew were able to swindle those $10 that DSP had no obligation to pay. But even then, it was cheaper than a trip to the hospital. As for the forums, or the medium DSP would unleash his threats, Shoryuken.com, or SRK for short, is named after a popular move in Street Fighter. DSP continued to expand his character, adding the tagline, "The King of Hate."
And the whole idea behind the King of Hate moniker was everyone hates me because I talk so much shit online, but no one can do anything about it because in person, I could hold up my end of the shit talking and win.
I understand you got something you want to say about the
You could... No, hold up.
Hates me because I talk so much shit online, but no one can do anything about it because in person, I could hold up my end of the shit talking and win.
Bullshit.
You got something you want to say about the DSP?
Nah, I don't got nothing to say about that little retard. Down syndrome Phil. Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah.
Down syndrome Phil.
In 2003, Phil's infamy grew to new heights after he was banned from the SRK forums. Even the smaller competitions he did win would not be received with commemoration, but ire. In addition to the displeasures at his victory was what appears to be Phil advertising his website known as TopHaters.com. Further investigation reveals that this website of Phil's creation was a response to TopPlayers.com.
See, here's the problem with Phil. Here's the problem. The gimmick could work. The gimmick can work if the people you're pulling the gimmick on are in on it. That's the only way this works.
A West Coast-centered Street Fighter website. Looking further into it, this is not just a response to top players, but Phil's lashing out at his infamy. There is much to unpack through the multiple pages of this website. On this page alone, he challenges some of the fighting game culture he himself is guilty of. On the main page, he informs readers that he works at Circuit City. On this thread, he is hating on the mechanics of Guilty Gear, a different fighting game. His words and his culture did not resonate within the fighting game community. Even so, he petitioned for financial support, supposedly to run the website, while also complaining about the lack of
He worked
users.
himself into a
Despite the
shoot.
clear lack
You're
of
right, he
support,
did.
Phil went onward with a new project known as Impact. As TopHaters.com was Phil's answers to TopPlayers.com, Impact was Phil's answer to Evo. And even though Phil continued to attend, he sought to make his own large-scale event. Quote, "It's obvious that Impact is going to compete heavily with Evo," unquote. On the threads created by Phil to promote Impact that included fundraising, brainstorming ideas, and other items meant to trigger discussion, on average would have at most a single other response. That was also the only respondent to the majority of Phil's posts. Even threads discussing how much Phil sucked garnered more attention on his website than Impact. TopHaters.com was a failed project. DSP now espoused to this negativity will not use his character to his benefit. Instead, he used it to attack beloved franchises like Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3.
Why? Why would you do this? Why?
Even then,
this is
that was
stupid.
only a distraction from his assaults at fighting game culture. Here, he lambasted what was known in the fighting game community as combo videos. In the early days of the fighting game community, CDs were exchanged in person. These carried videos of various combos or tactics one could utilize, yet the existence of them were also controversial as groups could gatekeep the data. Now, with the internet in play and data shared at a faster pace, tactics and their discovery were virtually immediately adapted and the meta was becoming solidified. Even still, the combo video situation is more complex than just defining metas, as DSP points out. Quote, "In some cases, the combo videos are single character only or console only," unquote. The last bit is of utter importance. Now mid-2004, arcades have long been losing their purpose to the increasingly popular home video game console, and a switch of competitions prioritizing consoles could increase accessibility for players and allow for significantly cheaper and easier to manage components as consoles and their elements could be set up and altered with ease. This transition was controversial only for those brought up in arcade culture and those in competitive gaming communities. When a game, like Street Fighter for example, is ported from the superior hardware of an arcade cabinet to the limited or vastly different video game console, color, resolution, and most importantly mechanics could differ based on the port. And though the color resolution of an arcade cabinet to the limited or vastly different video game console, color, resolution, and most importantly mechanics could
Not just mechanics, so I will add something else here. Another thing that is lost. Frame rate. Frame rate is massively lost. Oh, thank you, Ferret. I appreciate that, brother. It's good to be back. Yeah, not only is resolution lost, but frame rate is lost.
Could differ based on the port. And though the technology and quality control had improved, it was still not good enough. It was a jump that would eventually have to be made, but perhaps it was too soon.
Evolution console? It's my worst nightmare, dude. I'm an arcade player. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if this is the future, we're gonna have to, it's evolving, so we're gonna have to adapt. Personally, I don't like it, but, you know, no choice.
That was Alex Valle at EVO 2004, sharing what was the popular opinion among the top fighting game players. And to the displeasure of many, their worst nightmare would manifest in ways they could hardly predict.
And horribly predict. That's the thing now why fighting games these days don't get multiple releases, or at least if they do, they're arcade perfect. Like Street Fighter, like Tekken 7, because that took I think like 2 years before it got ported from arcade to console. Like it was. It took a while before consoles really got.
EVO 2005 would live in infamy for its decision to use the PlayStation port of Street Fighter II Turbo and the outcome of the matches. Both would receive protest in one way or another.
In 2005, I think it was, the three of you were absent from ST Top 8. What happened that year?
When you play Bison and you hit a Fierce Flame and it only goes like 20% of the screen, you got a problem with the game. And you got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube. But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like fucking Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
Yeah, they're scuffed.
First of all, I have to bring this up. Alex Valle did not enter this tournament. He claimed he was busy and he couldn't show up. Bullshit. He was like, oh, I'm protesting Evo because they're not holding Arcade Super Turbo. I don't want to enter or whatever, right? Yet he was still there, but he didn't enter. He did not enter the tournament. I'm going to name some names now, people who I played and beat that day in the Super Turbo for the PS1 that you might be like, what the fuck? Jason Wilson, Mike Watson. Pretty sure I played John Choi and I beat him too.
DSP at EVO 2005 surged in the ranks for Street Fighter II Turbo, a feat that was achieved through a superior knowledge of the game.
During that period of time, I learned some major differences about the game, including...
There's the problem, you fucking dipshit! That right there, High Supreme. There's the problem. Differences in the game. That's why people were protesting.
Including the fact that some characters were different sizes. They weren't as tall or as short as they were supposed to be, and they had different hitboxes. I found out certain characters did different stun amounts than they did in Arcade Super Turbo. I found out that one of my characters, Vega, was incredibly easy to do these complex combos with, which actually was harder to do in the arcade version of the game.
The beauty of Phil's achievement, in now beating all of his American opponents in EVO 2005, is that he totes his knowledge as a fair advantage. But when he goes up against the Japanese players who also dedicated themselves to the port without protest, he changes his tone.
So now I was in the position, boom, if I win like 1 to 2 more matches, I could win the whole event. And then my final match in the tournament was against Tokido, who picked a mirror. We did a mirror match of Vega. And he knew a few things about Vega that I didn't about the mirror match. And just because he knew those few things, he got the jump on me. And I remember distinctly making 1 to 2 major blunders that people were like, why did he do that? I don't know. You know, I was on the stage. I was playing in front of 1,000 or 2 people. And I was, you know, I fucked up, I admit. He beat me. And so what ended up happening, I got 4th place. The top 3 places were all Japanese players.
DSP had ranked 4 at EVO 2005 for Street Fighter II Turbo, and used these statistics to state that he was the top American player. The more he would promote this, the more he'll be scrutinized for the details around his victory. What's more, the details about his life outside of the fighting game community were less savory.
I had to leave
you always
that
had to
job,
play
as
Eagle.
I told you, to go to EVO 2005. I had racked up my credit card bills like sky high. I owed a ton of credit card debt.
With more debt accrued, Phil moved back in with his parents and was working a job at Best Buy. Here, he was living off the high of his new title. Perhaps unrecognized and unvaluable to the population at large, that was not the case for his local competitive environment that were in awe of Phil's achievement.
One day, my friend Tony, who mostly we were known for playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Capcom vs. SNK 2 together, said, hey, I got a couple buddies who actually like Super Turbo, and obviously that's the game you're really good at. You want to go play with them?
Yeah, you're good at.
I ever met John Rambo. So this is probably between like 2005, 2006, I would guess. When I first met him, I felt like it was almost like a deer in headlights moment. Like, oh my God, this is a guy who just came back from Evo and placed.
John Rambo, coincidentally sharing the name of the action movie character, was becoming DSP's best friend.
Oh, fuck it. Wait,
hold
up.
The name of the action.
Came back from Evo and placed.
John Rambo, coincidentally sharing the name of.
Wait, hold up. Okay, so obviously I never really looked into this, but John Rambo is actually his legit name? Like, his legal name, the name that it states on his birth certificate, is actually John Rambo? I thought it was just a fucking alias.
The action movie character was becoming DSP's best friend. They shared an expansive list of friends as DSP continued to be revered.
That's actually pretty fucking legit.
He was even allowed back on SRK and was helping run regional competitions. As now patterned, his investments into the fighting game community continued to hurt his finances. He was even fired from his job at Best Buy for using an employee discount to purchase equipment that would be used at East Coast Championships 2006. Now on unemployment,
his parents saw an opportunity.
Became ever more
I agree,
reckless.
Omega.
For
That's
2006
dope.
and 2007, I started traveling the country, playing in all what was considered qualifying tournaments for EVO, which was the big national finale. Think like there's qualifying games in any sport, and then there's the big finals, right? As I started attending all these qualifier tournaments, I was winning them.
This is true, and this is footage of his victory at EVO East 2006. As neat as these victories were, traveling across the country when he already secured a high position in EVO meant that he was effectively wasting his money, as having more than one seat was pointless.
Yeah, and here's the thing as well. To my remembrance, early tournaments like this did not fucking pay out well. They didn't. They really didn't.
Phil
pay
is
out
now
well.
seeded to be in the finals at EVO like 7 times. We need to actually take people who he beat and put them into the spots, because we can't have a whole bracket that's just Phil playing.
These victories inflated his ego beyond measure and created an even more aggressive Phil.
First of all, you are fucking hypocrite, because you have no problem. You have no problem talking about my shit.
I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass.
Oh, really? You gonna whoop my fucking ass? Oh, I want to see that shit.
I want to see it.
DSP continued to seek out a physical altercation, and in most cases, it led to nothing. Other times, he miscalculated and threatened someone who could reciprocate threats, reinforced by real experience. Viscount, a veteran of the fighting game community, was lambasted by DSP. Quote, so first Phil was like, okay, well you have to sign some document, because if I kill you, I don't want to be responsible. And I was like,
there's
whatever.
no such
Then,
thing.
There was an actual serious negotiation over who the ref was going to be. And I think we settled on Walter from Connecticut, but I don't remember this part either. Then there was an honest-to-God negotiation over weight, and that we were going to have to weigh in and everything.
I'm fine, Billy.
Again,
How
I'm
are
not
you?
making any of this up. As dumb as this sounds, this absolutely happened. So one day Phil IMs me on AIM and tries to back out. He was like, hey, so how about this? How about we pretend like we're going to fight, and then when a whole crowd is around us, we both do DX cross chops to the crowd. It'll be such a goof. This really happened, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I honestly couldn't believe he was pulling this, and I was still mad about the whole thing and actually wanted to fight him. From that point on, there never really was any problem between him and I, unquote. When it came to real fights, backing out was typical of Phil. But when it came to Street Fighter, he was more confident than he'd ever been.
All right, we got the man of all hate, the one and only DSP. I call him Phil, because Phil's cool. Anyhow, Phil, how you feel about ST?
I mean, for years these same guys are on top, and yes, I'm talking about John Choi, I'm talking about Alex Valle, playing ST, placing, okay, they're good. But to disrespect the people that got top 8 at Evolution, to make excuses because it's on console, it's ridiculous.
There you go. You heard it from DSP. Straight from DSP.
See, that's why there should have been categories.
Thank you. Check out the
Take
shirt.
this, bitch.
Hate that.
Could Phil really back up these claims, or on the other side, could Valle beat Phil?
Alex Valle, this guy right here, living legend, Street Fighter scene. First and foremost, you know what I gotta ask you? The ST beef with DSP.
I don't even consider it a beef. It's like another scrub, another day.
Ouch! Damn!
As chance would have it, they actually did compete at EVO 2006.
First match finally. Oh, on stage, Phil versus Alex Valle. I'm like, oh great. It was a decent match, I lost. And I was like, motherfucker, you know, all this practice, I waited all day, basically it mind fucked me waiting all day to play my match. I finally play Alex Valle and I lose.
Phil, now in the losers bracket, still had a chance to redeem himself. And after working his way through the losers bracket, he had his final match of the day.
My final match is against, guess who? Tokido. Now this is the guy who beat me in 2005 on stage mirror match with Vega.
The results of Tokido and DSP's first 2 matches played out exactly like they did in EVO 2005.
Oh!
The players won.
Oh! Oh, just look at that too.
In a single match, and it came down to the last match where the results were also mirrored.
And he won. He knocked me down and I fucking lost. And I was like, I wanted to rip my fucking shirt off like Hulk Hogan and be like, fuck this shit.
DSP did not even place in the top 8. He was now the former top American player, but if anything, he was still persistent. In 2007, he went at it again, also winning EVO East. Even though, with his victory, DSP qualified to be seated higher at EVO, he still attended EVO West, which was held at Comic-Con.
God damn, that takes me back. Look at that. Hold up. There it is. Holy shit, they got advertisements for fucking Devil May Cry 4. That should give you an idea how long ago this was.
Come back. Don't get down for Japan. David Sterling, one match. DSP, one match.
There was an Evo West in San Diego, and fucking DSP.
Again, look at this motherfucker. And Phil tried to start shit with this man. Bruh.
He was fucking talking shit about Mike Watson, and that's my road dog. When we fucking ran him down in Evo West, you know, we didn't even fucking wait to get outside. Watson just fucking went up to him in the arcade hall and just told him, dude, why the fuck you talking shit? This and that, blah blah blah. And he just didn't even want to face us. Like, he just kept on like cowering away and looking away and just being fucking quiet, this and that, and just fucking scared shitless. And we're fucking following him around, dude. Like, what the fuck's your problem? And you know, Watson's is a forgiving guy, so he just fucking pretty much got to the point where he made him apologize.
I said, you got to do what you got to do. If you feel like you're going to make you feel better to hit me, then go ahead. I guess I deserve it. And he's like, well, I don't understand then. Why did you say those things? And I was like, dude, I'm an alcoholic. I admitted it to him right there. I was like, I'm an alcoholic. I drink too much all the time, and I just can't control myself when I do it. And you know, at that point, I actually started crying because I felt so bad about everything that I had done and how stupid I was as a person.
Yeah, right.
Rumor of
Here's
what
the thing.
took place at this event.
I would totally be sympathetic if this was an actual alcoholic. But his repeated behavior has shown this to be a lie.
Spread within the fighting game community.
Do you guys remember the whole thing with DSP and like with the West Coast people, where they almost like he was like really scared because he was about to get beat up? I heard he was like crying and everything, so that was pretty funny.
DSP had fulfilled his role as a heel by losing to players who were far more popular than he was. He again, for Evo Actual, did not even place in the top 8. Even if he won such events,
dude, again, like this, just to give you, this is what I'm talking about Evo, not about tournaments not paying that much back then. First place only got $5,000.
Fulfilled his role as a heel by losing to players who were far more popular than he was. He again, for Evo Actual, did not even place in the top 8. Even if he won such events, the prize money would do little to counter the credit card debt that he had accrued. His new job was not doing much to help him either.
Then I ended up finally getting a job after the Best Buy debacle at a place called Helicopter Support Incorporated. This was also in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Actually, I take that back. I think Helicopter Support was just over the Trumbull line.
This is a strange leap from working at Best Buy to working as medium in helicopter parts selection. His degree that he had recently gotten was supposedly in business. So DSP's work experience, nor his...
I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. This is gonna sound really fucking strange to bring up. It's weird seeing him with that mustache.
The educational background was related to his current position. The only thing that was his father, who had been working at the company, and it is understood that DSP secured his position due to nepotism. There was an additional development that DSP would long cling to. He was now starting a perilous path, ones that machinations would be far more complex than he could ever predict or even understand. Yet he stood directly in the center to witness it all.
So basically, I was very nervous. We went to this Chinese restaurant, and I swear to you, the first fortune that I got, well, my fortune that I got that they said, financial hardship in your life is coming to an end. By the way,
that's the lie. Oh, how little he knew.
when I do record games...
Oh, how little he knew.
So what, you're not going to edit this video? You're just going to post them as is with the 10-minute mark?
Why would I edit? It took 2 days, actually, off of work just to
Why
play
would I
Batman
edit
Arkham Asylum. Because I knew it was going to be great, and you know what? I don't regret it at all. Even though...
I'm the fucking Batman!
The DarksydePhil YouTube channel was created on March 3, 2007, but was not utilized until 2008. Phil began by recording some of the fighting game events he would enter. The earliest available video is Midwest Moment 4 Day 1 Setup. The next one is Moment 7, then 13, then 19. Though all these videos range from 13 seconds to 2 minutes and 16 seconds, the jumping of the numerical order means that several videos were deleted and various pre-existing videos are lost. This was not the only event he recorded in 2008, and alongside those videos, DSP began recording gameplay of various
trip was
genres.
alright.
The quality as such reflected the best his equipment would allow, as he positioned his camera initially on the floor and pointed it towards his television. DSP recorded Star Wars The Force Unleashed,
At least I got all this fucking high-definition ear detail.
Castle Crashers,
It's a bunch of fucking horseshit, to be honest.
and Mercenaries 2.
Another Grand Theft Auto 4 rip-off mission.
While the genres varied, the style of recording, the
Really?
commentary, and the titling, and that he proclaimed the game sucked, provided some theming in a space that lacked cohesion. YouTube, as it was looked at as a video repository, a place to consume viral videos. Series and the like were virtually non-existent. There was no meta for videos and not much of a reason to make them, considering that a paycheck through content creation was unheard of. In such an uncompetitive and themeless space, Phil's videos excelled. He quickly found out that his gameplay videos did better than his recordings of fighting game events. Then found out
Who
that if he
remembers
recorded
Fred?
proper sequences of walkthroughs, missions, and games, the chain of videos garnered even more views, as was demonstrated by his gameplay of Saints Row 2. These were uploaded out of
Oh,
sequence
Lord, don't
as Phil
remind me.
relied
Don't
on a
remind me of
unique
Saints Row
method
2.
of recording. Instead of recording the entirety of his gameplay in one go that would create a single video file to chop into several parts, Phil subverted the need to edit his videos down below the required 10-minute mark that YouTube had by physically stopping the recording on his camera every couple minutes.
Oh my god, this is bullshit. Ugh. Okay, Saints Row 2. Trying to kill the general again.
This naturally created individual files that not only saved him time on the editing process, but the rendering as well. From here, he could
Minimal
upload
effort.
the files directly. The only additional effort applied left was to name the videos. Though Phil, in late 2008, did commit himself to recording entire playthroughs of games full with his commentary, the sequence was still scrambled and parts were uploaded out of order. But by the time he began his Fallout 3 series, now adopting his role of what would be known as a Let's Player, he was finally correcting these errors and uploading a sequence. Then the issue was not the sequence, but how much he was uploading. If he did a 4-hour
Too goddamn
recording
much.
session, that amounted to 25 videos, and those 25 videos were uploaded from November 28th to November 29th. That was 25 uploads in just 2 days. Phil, with some fluctuation, was spamming his uploads. By December 19th, even with his job in mind, he was up to part 137 of the Fallout Let's Play series. That was only a fraction of his 749 videos. This means Phil, at 1,400 subscribers, averaged around 2 subscribers per video. The comments were quite vocal with their exhaustion of the spam. Quote, "Stop spamming videos, they are not that good." Unquote. Some comments seem to just target Phil as a person. Quote, "Fucking you. You are a stupid man."
You will never find a more 2008 fucking comment than that. We have reached peak internet comment right there. Fucking hell.
Suck my lick. Unquote.
Nope, there it is. Nope.
Quote. Phil's commentary was colorful and could prompt these responses.
Oh, look. Blah, blah, blah. You cannot speak in the English, you stupid. Blah, blah, blah.
Damn!
Okay.
Okay.
You're safe.
Viewers were not sure if DSP's crudeness was him playing a character, though the Street Fighter community knew it wasn't.
DSP, stop recording. No one gets a shit. Play. You can't hold up a tournament.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ, man. Want me to run the fucking tournament for you?
Taking form now in early 2009 was the basis of DSP. All the core elements were finally present, including
There's
the
a
audience.
fucking
From
cowboy
those
hat.
few who were vocal about their dislike of DSP, DSP responded by comparing himself to Satan, and those who enjoyed his videos enough to donate to him. As seen in his description, he was now accepting PayPal donations for what he claims were games and equipment. Even now, in the channel comments, people were suggesting the use of direct capture via what is known as a capture card, and DSP did indeed spend that money, a lot of it too, on a more expensive, yet worse option.
A condo.
As you know, any donations that you send help me to in the cost of games and equipment, especially this brand new HD camera. It cost me a pretty
Bruh, why? Fucking bruh, why?
hefty sum, so.
As these suggestions to how he could improve his videos poured in, Phil would go on and pour them out.
This guy just wants to be my friend so he gets deleted. Why don't you use capture card instead of camera? I've already explained this 7,000 fucking times. It's because then I'd have to actually use a professional microphone. I'd have to record the voiceovers. I'd have to actually do video editing on every fucking video that I put up. Considering I put up like 30 a fucking day,
baby,
unless you want to fucking stay
hell.
home and do that while I'm at work, I don't think that's gonna happen. So shut your fucking face.
That, as would be understood, was DSP's long-winded way of saying it was because he did not want to put forth the effort to learn the technology, making it seem over-complex to an audience that knew very little about video creation. From here on, he would label his videos as HD, inherent from the camera and not the game as people would be actually searching for. It is difficult to say how much DSP was making from these donations, but he was earning something and realized he could be making even more. Not from gameplay, as YouTube was afraid to monetize such content in fear that the copyright strikes from the game companies would doom the platform, but from vlogs, as YouTube recognized it was all original footage. This new channel, once more promoting his new camera's abilities, going as the King of Hate HD, shined a light on DSP's previously private life. There were videos of him making custom controllers with John Rambo and friends, sometimes videos of DSP and friends at a cookout, and sometimes the different competitions he would attend and not perform well in. It was clear that DSP had a vibrant social life. DSP was attending midnight releases, freely interacting with strangers, and now, because his vlogging channel was successfully accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, where he pressed what he assumed to be the advantage.
Hello everyone, DSP here.
Face reveal.
Shocked that we're finally meeting face to face. I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to.
That's a face nobody wanted to see.
The King of Hate HD.
You ever seen that? Family Guy skit where they say move that bus, they move the bus, and then there's just that ugly chick right there, and they say move that bus back. Pretty much the exact same thing here.
And click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, fingers crossed.
Bobby Hill, that's it. It was Bobby Hill.
Combined with the money from his traditional job, he moved out of his parents' house into his own condo that he purchased for $131,000, leaving him to be a host for such events such as a pizza/gameplay party.
Yeah. What better to eat? Right.
See that is what you do. Like I'm not gonna hate on that. You buy a place, you invite the boys around, you play games, and you buy pizza. That you can't hate on that because that's what you do.
For a Ninja Turtles playthrough, and a delicious, ginormous pizza.
That's
huge. Why don't you stop playing Street Fighter 4 and come get pizza so we can play Turtles? John Rambo here, devouring his final slice. No.
Hell, bugger, you fuckers.
As controversial as Phil had become in the real world, and was well on the way in the online space, he was leading a fuller life. He was even experimenting with edited videos, like his multi-part Game Awards series.
It's DSP's Game of the Year Awards 2009, Top 10 Best Games of the Year.
Not everything operated well in DSP's life. He was still heavily drinking even during Let's Plays.
Follow me, Red. Don't attack those fucking rad scorpions, just follow me.
Oh my god, he is so sauced. No! Red!
Red has died. She didn't even get fucking hit. Now she's dead. What the fuck?
As was normal, DSP fumbled through gameplay regularly, blaming the game for
I'm sorry, did he just...
As
I'm sorry, did you just splice... Joon, did you just splice in fucking footage of someone drinking vodka in Fallout to emphasize the drinking. You dastardly bastard.
DSP fumbled through gameplay, regularly blaming
You
the game for
fucking did, and there's the
Alcohol
whiskey. Yeah.
only amplified this.
You
We may not look it,
dastardly
but every
bastard.
one of us is a trained. They both come in here. Hey!
Get out of here! What the fuck you doing?
A viewer may have missed it as Phil did through his rapid selection of the dialogue for the sake of progression. Phil unwittingly chose the option to threaten the NPC.
Why the fuck are they attacking
Well,
me?
there goes big time.
I don't get it. Why are they attacking me?
Oh my god, he is so drunk. I don't even sound.
Why did they attack me?
I don't even
There
sound
was a
that
grotesque
drunk.
nature to Phil's Let's Plays and a rage that would turn physical.
My Xbox locked up. Fucking cunt. Fuck, you're doing it.
Standing fucking roundhouse.
Rob.
Shit, fuck.
Fucking doesn't kidding me. Fuck this stupid fucking mission. I'm fucking cookie fucking balls.
A part of a successful creator is willingness to experiment, adapt, and improve.
Beautiful.
DSP had those elements, except he was so set in his immediate success, he disregarded improvement to increase what worked in excess. By early
This is
2010,
music.
his Let's Plays and number of total videos soared. In just a little over a year, he had nearly 7,000 uploads on his main channel, with his total views at a gargantuan 70 million. That means he was averaging 10,000 views a video. And not in the least humble about these statistics. Quote, I've been called fat, ignorant, stupid, scrub, loud, obnoxious, disrespectful, belligerent, inciting troll, asshole, worthless. But I've also been called entertaining.
I mean, none of those are incorrect.
By 70 million people. You be the judge. I'll be banned by the time you read this. Unquote. This could be found on SRK, and if even possible, further soured Phil's image in the rest of the Street Fighter community.
Look at him now. I mean, he's just 20,000 idiots are subscribed to him. That's great. Congratulations. Congratulations with your YouTube channel, and hope you enjoy your life, bro. I mean, it's a great victory. PlayStation 1 Super Turbo Champion. You take that to your grave, bro. Good luck.
DSP was making enemies that he had never met. In 2009, he had a small run-in with Rockstar and Take-Two that took down 2 of his videos, as was commonplace, as all of Phil's videos ran the risk of scrutiny by these companies.
However, Take-Two took it upon themselves to actually put a cease and desist order against YouTube, stating that they were not allowed to put up any of my gameplay footage, in particular because I had the cutscenes of the game in my footage.
And then, in 2010, what appeared to be Ubisoft also struck Phil's channel to a severe degree. By April, the strikes continued at such a pace that his main channel, DarksydePhil, was taken down. After sharing the news, it came out that the strikes were illegitimate and were possibly sent out by a disgruntled viewer. With the strikes resolved and the channel restored, Phil saw it fit to celebrate his channel's resurrection.
Wait for it. Wait. And that bald spot has only gotten larger. That bald spot has only gotten larger over time.
Guess who's back, motherfuckers? That's right. That's right. They tried to take me down. They tried to get me off YouTube. They tried to shut me up. Fuck those motherfuckers. The king is back. That's right. As you can see,
I think they have before.
My channel, DarksydePhil, has been restored on YouTube. So, awesome.
This tactic would also become commonplace against Phil. As a response to the initial takedown, DSP made 2 additional channels, one for Street Fighter that was soon abandoned, and another for gaming going as DSP Gaming. This channel, for all intents and purposes, adopted the role of his main channel and will remain as such for the foreseeable future. At the time, as a host to gameplay videos, the channel's true purpose was to bring attention towards his vlogging channel, as that channel was monetized.
What am I going to do? I'm going to whip up a couple of express mode bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, which include 6 pieces
of white bread.
This new series, beginning in September of 2010, was going under Poorly Cooking with the King. These videos were much more intimate than his gaming videos or even vlogs, for reasons not known then, but are now.
Back then, I started Cooking with the King as a way to branch out and to have additional content on that channel.
Poorly Cooking.
The series ran its course to the point where I literally probably cooked every single meal I could possibly make without looking like an idiot. Or using a cookbook. And the point is, the series was me showing you things that I cook, not me cooking out of a cookbook.
Phil was increasingly monetizing different aspects of his life, and as he stated, Poorly Cooking with the King were the recipes he knew how to make, meaning this is what Phil made regularly.
Which is terrifying. Which is terrifying! That is terrifying given what he fucking cooks.
Today I'm going to make scrambled eggs, and I'm also going to make some sausage. So I'm going to whip together some burgers, the eggs, and the cheese. That's pretty much 3 basic ingredients, but you can add other things to this dish. Although in this episode, we're actually going to go a little bit more healthy than some of my previous recipes, simply because a lot of people have been complaining, and I guess it's time to show that I don't only eat, you know, things that might be high in fat or high in cholesterol. For every 6 ounces of tuna, you should use a half a cup of mayonnaise and or Miracle Whip.
Oh, sorry.
Those were the following 4 Poorly Cooking with the King videos. Besides Phil's poor diet that would impact his life in somewhat ironic ways, viewers were exposed to cooking mishaps that were perplexing.
Safest thing to do with bacon grease. Oh yeah. Hot fucking potato.
Yeah, just gonna let this sit on screen for 2 seconds while I clean my glasses and you guys read why this was a really, really, really fucking shit idea of Phil's. Okay.
Potatoes.
Screwing viewers could look at the clock in the stove frame, the layout of his house, etc. As for the rest of his videos, they were performing well, even if he did have a few hiccups or angry neighbors telling him to shut up along the way. If this was the only trouble DSP received, the rest of 2010 would have gone more smoothly. The key change that destabilized his world was him getting fired from his job.
And what happened in this case, they did a reorg where they took me out of this department where I was doing all this great work, and they put me in a completely different department. The management there didn't give a fuck about me, and after 3 months they laid me off.
Now, with more incentive to monetize his life, Phil launched a new series known as DSP Tries It.
Because fast food, I'm going to be telling you right now, when I do these for fast food, they're always going to have a low rating, because fast food usually is pretty bad. It's an odd combination of flavors, because the egg and all the meat are extremely salty.
This series was initially food-based. Then he began reviewing his own merchandise.
There's a bunch of different designs that you can get.
Then joysticks.
This
there's a reason.
Uses all Sanwa parts.
This series had now evolved within the first 21 episodes to a general
it's
product
because it will
review
fuck
show.
up your pipes.
DSP tries it.
This is DSP.
God fucking damn it! I need to see this.
How's that shit? I'm using the new Axe body detailer. I use the detail inside to wash off
My fucking eyes.
For a period, DSP discontinued this series and later stopped posting on the King of Hate HD altogether. DSP's fans were aware that he lost his job, and so a fan contacted Phil and offered to make him his own website, as was customary for various creators that found themselves unsecure in YouTube survivability. And so, by October, thekingofhate.com was up and running. Mainly used as a fan site, this website was fully equipped with forums and not a host of actual videos. Fan input and support was at an all-time high. That's why in November, he made an exorbitant amount of money.
That first month, I made $18,000.
You know what I could do with $18,000? What I could legitimately do with $18,000? I could upgrade all of my equipment. I could set myself up with a bunch of games to play in the future. I could set up game servers for people to come and play games. I could say, and that wouldn't even scratch the surface of this. and I could save the rest, invest it.
In the first half of December,
Maybe
Phil
buy
made
stock in
another
Ubisoft.
$13,000, though it is unclear if YouTube actually paid it out. Regardless, if what Phil says is true about him making around $200 on average in the prior months, then he was now making 100 times more. This was unsustainable.
Mid-December, I get a message from YouTube. Dear Mr. Burnell, we have detected invalid clicking activity on your videos.
Yeah.
Therefore, as a result of said activity, we are suspending. We're not turning off. We're not completely removing. We are suspending your AdSense account.
Phil claims that this increase in click activity
I think
was
he's
due to
fucking
viewers
stupid,
feeling
Shadow
bad for
the
him,
Trees
not
getting
considering
Game of
that
the
the
Year.
average person does not know how YouTubers make their money. This was mysterious by intention, done to avoid users clicking on ads for the sake of helping out their favorite creator. And if viewer support via DSP's instruction could staunch his income, what could viewer hostility do?
This, I said, YouTube, with their AdSense program, literally tell everyone, don't talk to your fans about it. Don't tell them how AdSense works, because then you would incentivize them to do stuff and commit fraud. Basically, how much you guys participate with this channel, if you know what I mean. I'm not allowed to come out and just say, you know, how you can do that, but anyone who's accustomed to YouTube and how the partner channels work, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. That's where the fun comes from, so I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to entertain you in the future. Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos.
DSP Cult Leader was a channel that represented a growing disdain for DSP. This channel was falling under the umbrella of detractor content, or those that at this moment believed DSP was not exactly truthful or transparent with his intentions. In late December of 2010, this channel was releasing various videos showing contradictions in DSP's words, like the reason he was suspended from the AdSense program, or just items that the uploader personally disagreed with. Additionally, though Phil positioned himself as tight with money, he was still able to purchase a few high-end collectibles here and there. The amount of statues and figurines were noticeably increasing. Perhaps it was because he felt secure, not in YouTube, but in Blip.tv. This was a website that was trying to compete with YouTube and was on the lookout
I
for
recently,
talent.
obviously, my trip to Mexico, as you guys, some of you guys know, I went on. I bought some statues, but I didn't spend half as much as what they cost here on the internet. Do you know what certain statues cost you over $100? Let that sink in. That means that some of these statues, if Phil was buying them through official channels, right, and official merchandise, could round you up hundreds of dollars.
DSP, a very large channel, was welcomed with open arms, and soon after joining was the second largest channel on Blip.tv, and was on an exclusive, superior contract. Here, he uploaded gameplay and vlogging videos alike, while still uploading videos to YouTube as a fallback. That's how DSP entered 2011. His attention split between two competing websites. In January, a demo for the upcoming highly anticipated game, Dead Space 2, was released to help build up hype. DSP was among those that downloaded it, and among the few to record it.
Then we got some oofs in the chat, please.
Then, he was the sole creator that made the most controversial video that was not even related to the already controversial gameplay.
Oofs, oofs in chat, spam it, and you know what's coming.
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs.
What? Oof.
So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew.
Phil, role-playing as the last surviving space Nazi, did not translate well to his audience that quickly reported his anti-Semitic jokes.
That doesn't translate well at all.
Blip.tv sought to purge Phil and banned him from the platform. He was also, in essence, blacklisted from working with any existing creators on Blip. So for the third time in just 3 months, Phil had to restructure his job and figure out how to make money again.
Phil fucked him.
Sorry,
Phil
but obviously
screwed
you've proven that you
Phil.
can't be mature about it. I sure as hell didn't go to your page to try to fucking flame your fans, so enjoy your block. You're no longer allowed to talk on any of my fucking videos. And then here we go, oh look, it's Hutch, and he sends me this giant fucking message. I told you I was done, you don't listen, so you're blocked. I don't ever want to hear from you again.
Hutch, A gaming creator who worked for Machinima and held a lot of influence with the multi-channel network had changed tones with DSP. Feeling sympathetic, and after a short back and forth through email, Hotch was able to pull some strings and get his channel partnered again. Not with YouTube directly, but through Machinima as the third party, therefore circumventing Phil's own suspended AdSense account. This was an increasing strategy where YouTube could negate its copyright fears by placing the responsibility on multi-channel networks like Machinima. In turn, they would be rewarded by reaping a portion of the
I have
ad
no idea
revenue.
what Hutch is.
So for the first time ever on YouTube, all of Phil's content could be monetized. In the background, there was one issue, or faction, Phil could not shake.
Wait.
Not even a day after getting partnered with Machinima, the prominent detractor channel, DSP Cult Leader, uploaded a video from the year prior where Phil denounced Machinima.
They're nice enough to go on my partner channel and watch those videos and click the ads and things like that. So all I have to really say is fuck you, Machinima.
Mostly unfazed by these counter-narratives, Phil continued to upload copious amounts of now monetized content with newfound
Copious
confidence.
amounts with
cope. Living the dream.
A lot of copium.
You can only go up from here.
For a while, this was the case. In May of 2011, he had a $1,600 computer built by the same fans that created and were running his website. Phil was still going to fighting game events,
I'm sorry, wait,
though not as frequently, and if not, and were running.
Is that a fucking Blu-ray DVD? Dude, why? What year was this? I just realized that's a fucking Blu-ray, a Blu-ray drive in his PC.
His website.
Those are
Phil
not
was still going to
cheap.
fighting game events.
A Blu-ray disc drive for a PC in 2011 is not fucking cheap.
Though not as frequently, and if not clear already, he was making a decent amount of
I
money.
forgot when that
In the
PC was
course of 8
fucking
months,
made.
Phil was cluttering all facets of his condo with collectibles or equally unessential items. His 2011 condo tour showcased how much his apartment had changed. On the walls, counters, even the floor, it was difficult to find a square foot of clear space. There was even an entire corner of his condo solely dedicated to the boxes of the items he had purchased. The density of items took space. Not just physical space, but also with the condo tour runtime that by part 3 saw Phil categorizing just segments of the small condo as to speed up the pace of the video. The first 3 parts had reached a total runtime of over 30 minutes, and this was hardly everything. Phil had covered the open space, or lack thereof, between his kitchen and living room.
Hold on.
Left to review, besides the bathroom, was his bedroom that was similarly decorated with gamer memorabilia and other items Phil took interest in.
This artwork is actually painted completely with her breasts, and it's custom artwork that she makes, and she does all kinds of different paintings and such. And I was actually thinking, this is so nice, it's so artistic looking.
Yeah, sure, Phil. Okay, to give you context right now, a Pioneer internal Blu-ray a Blu-ray drive, an internal one, brand new, on Amazon would fetch you £120. That's like $135. A Pioneer external Blu-ray drive would fetch you £140. That's about $155. That's today.
That if I do get an office next year, like I had talked about doing, that I may actually commission her to do a couple more paintings for the office. I thought that would be pretty cool.
On that note, the only thing preventing Phil from stockpiling more was lack of space, which he sought to remedy.
Which I'm remedying myself.
Where's it really going to go? There's only a couple spots left that I've been looking, like a couple spots in the bedroom or whatever, but at this... At this point, it's pretty much all filled up. What I'd like to do is get the hell out of here and get us, like I said, get an office where I can do a lot of my filming, where I can do my uploading, and not have to worry about my modem going down here, having a business class internet, having a place where I could do better filming. And I sure as hell, I'm not sure that that's ever going to happen.
As much as he collected, there was a space he felt was consistently vacant. He was lacking a significant other. Quote, "Now for my favorite part of the story. My sweet waffle Philip. I met him in November 2011 online, YouTube actually, while he was and currently is making video game playthroughs. We're still going strong despite some hurdles. The biggest one is other people. We are a May-December romance. He's 11 years older, but it makes our bonds even stronger. He is so supportive of my crafty ways, even if he doesn't understand half of it. We're even planning and taking steps to opening our own online bath beauty business. But moving in together comes first, because he lives in Connecticut. Told you we have hurdles, but that's all for now. I'm sure everyone will get to know me well soon enough. I can't wait to learn and share and confide in what seems like such great people. Smiley face. Unquote. That was from a future post created by Leanna, or Panda Lee as she was going as online. Leanna met Phil through the now defunct YouTube message system as a fan, only for Phil to escalate the relationship by providing her with his more private email. By February of 2012, they had become a couple, and Phil saw it fit to introduce her to his audience on Valentine's Day.
Hello everyone, DarksydePhil here, and with
You know, at the very least, Panda does not look like she's being held hostage like Cat did.
With me today is my beautiful girlfriend, Leanna, who also is known as Panda Lee on YouTube.
Quote, special note, Panda Lee is not Asian. That is all, unquote. This was an annotation found on the video, a request likely by Panda Lee to avoid confusion of her race. It is likely her because she also...
I never knew that annotation existed, but why would there be a confusion? She is as Caucasian gets.
Made sure to clear this up in an interview held through a Twisted Metal lobby.
Some guy on the reveal video commented that I looked like an old Asian woman, so...
Yeah, they're all immature. Don't pay attention to DSP fans. They're fucking idiots. A lot of them are fucking idiots.
If they ever need a really awkward Asian-looking non-Asian chick...
Yeah, I guess so. So what are your favorite games?
I just want to know how many Asians have green eyes. That's what I want to know. I've never met an Asian with green eyes.
Neither have I. So,
yeah, I have green eyes. Very rare, so...
What games do
figured
you
that
like?
would give away that I'm not Asian.
While Panda Lee was trying to convince Phil's audience that she is not Asian, Phil's audience was more curious about the 11-year age gap. With Phil being 29 years old and Panda Lee being 18, rumors spread that they began dating when she was underage, but these are unsubstantiated and no evidence of such has ever been brought forward. That cannot be said about the rest of the criticisms
still real to me, damn it!
Which there are many of.
Okay, so a word to the wise, do not fucking get an apartment, like, ever. Just don't. I don't care what neighborhood you live in. It can be as white as anything. Don't fucking get an apartment, because you know why? You know why it's a white neighborhood? Because the white people live in the houses around it. The police is here. Yep, I called the police. You know why? Because 3 buildings away, I had all these windows and doors closed, but I could hear this Latin CD perfectly that if I knew Spanish enough, I could probably translate it for you.
Panda Lee would sometimes do playthroughs with DSP and John Rambo. Still, DSP's best friend had a large catalog of playthroughs with Phil and was a favorite of the channel. Panda Lee, being a newcomer and with her being argumentative with Rambo, meant she was making a bad impression.
I was just being difficult. Alright, well anyway...
Whoa! Whoa! Okay, no, we run that back. We run that back like it was the best NFL play of all time.
Her being argumentative with Rambo meant she was making a bad impression.
I was just being difficult.
I meant 50% of what...
Alright, well anyway...
Panda Lee was a fair match for Phil because she had similar reasoning and an argumentative personality that Phil often portrayed in his videos.
Oh, she's a gold digger!
As for his videos, DSP
Well,
peaked in late 2011.
The dig's on me.
Now, 2012, the trend was downward, and instead of getting a capture card to improve the quality of
I ain't
his
saying
videos,
she a
we
gold
sought
digger.
experimentation elsewhere.
Fuck me. Hello to Project fucking
Project 7 was Phil and Friends' answer to the higher quality of videos found on YouTube. A summary of the plot is that Phil's gaming talent was stolen and that he has to travel through 7 gaming worlds.
And I said it then, and I will say it again. What fucking talent?
find and reclaim it. The stars were Phil, his best friend John Rambo, and their mutual friend Howard, which Phil claims was more so just John Rambo's friend. In charge of the editing, which was the heavy lifting, was more friends of John Rambo known by their channel Respect the Pact. They offered their assistance with the project for the sole purpose of a shoutout, which they hope will launch their YouTube career.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard. Woohoo! So it probably still was a lot of work for them. I don't think it was much work for us, despite what Phil would talk about how hard the day was. It's such a
No,
long
it wasn't.
day.
It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard.
I have nothing... Okay, no pun intended. I have nothing but respect for Respect the Pact for what they fucking did. They did decent editing for the time. They used good equipment. Like, these guys clearly cared.
Hard for us. It was hard for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was one day of filming.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 hours.
Respect the Pact put in a tremendous amount of work to edit the project that only made it to episode 4 because one of the members had a child on the way and the shoutouts that they got from the project did virtually nothing for their own personal channel. There was also the fact that Project 7 was practically a failure. The entire 4 episodes, when adding up the views, did not even surpass 1 million. It was far more lucrative for DSP to continue pumping out low-quality, effortless gameplay videos that he had even gotten a raise for mid-2012. Not only was he getting a set $2 per 1,000 views, sometimes he will get a bonus simply because of the size of his channel. The rest of the crew still desired to continue making these, and John Rambo put forth the idea that if DSP offered Respect the Pact money, then they would have a reason to stay.
Then you have a number, and then split it the 5 ways, and throw them the cash. Yep. And offer that to them. There's no guarantee that they're gonna continue with the series, but hey man, at least try.
Phil did not do so. He even lied to John Rambo and Howard and said that he did offer them money, only for them to ask Respect the Pact themselves.
His response, they don't want money. They don't want any money after this. Based on what he says they told him that.
Yeah. And then I asked them about it, and they said he didn't even talk to them.
Phil was bold-faced lying to his 2 friends. This was already on top of other compounding, smaller problems, like Phil's jealousy of larger content creators and how he would lash out, creating unwanted attention towards his channel or just himself. Comments would also sometimes spark jealousy of his friends and would create a response from Phil.
Case in point, in this teaser trailer, there's a funny scene featuring John Rambo, and everyone says it's the best part of the trailer, and I even saw a comment saying, wow, this is Rambo's the funniest thing. Guess what?
Because he fucking was.
What? I wrote that scene.
Phil, it's funny because of just how deadpan Rambo was.
These small, inconsequential things would add up slowly and drive a rift between DSP and John Rambo. Like when DSP lied about John Rambo not wanting to play Mario Party.
I start getting messages, and people are pissy. Oh, it's not mature enough for you, you big-nosed piece of shit.
Everything eventually circles back. Phil at first would pay John Rambo 50% of all the earnings in the Let's Plays he was involved in, but as it becomes more difficult to calculate their earnings with DSP's expansive catalog of videos, instead he would just toss him $100 every time he visited. But also, virtually every time he did visit, DSP would move things towards wanting to record more Let's Plays rather than hang out outside the realm of YouTube. This all relates to the 2012 condo. From these repeat visits, John and Howard noticed many changes that really just amounted to additions, like at least BMW.
We start showing up to your house, and what do we see? The guy starts buying figurines, starts buying all this ridiculous shit that there's no need to buy. Then we show up to his house one day, and what does he have in the fucking driveway? A BMW. So how the fuck do you think I feel, and how do you think these guys feel after the fact?
DSP was spending ever more frivolously. In contrast to his 2011 40-minute condo tour, this new condo tour took a total of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 27 seconds.
New condo.
On the surfaces of his apartments, sans some of the walls and ceilings, it became a challenge to now find a square inch of clear space. There was even an update on the corner, now wall full of boxes and trash.
It's now quickly become a graveyard of shit that I have nowhere to put.
Fucking get rid of it then. I get rid of shit.
I don't know what to do with it, alright?
DSP had run out of storage for his baubles and memorabilia.
I don't know. It's too much.
Too much.
Seriously, I've literally redone a lot of my fucking office
or sort
shit.
it, I'd probably be able to see it, but it's all just a jumbled mess on top of my dresser. I need more room.
His closet, even with items optimally stored, was overfilled.
What I want to look at is just to show you what a mess the inside of my fucking closet is. I'm not going to go all the way because my luggage is actually spilling out, but look at all the boxes I've got from the models.
Get
Phil did
rid
not
of the
value
boxes.
or understand money, except when it came to others. Phil, when talking about Project 7, classifies it as a financial loss for the t-shirts he helped finance and, more importantly, the props they bought. This prop that Howard is holding is a Lancer from the game Gears of War and cost $300. It had less than 30 seconds of screen time and was even less relevant to the plot, yet was the majority of shared expenses.
Why?
He would use this and other items to try to convince viewers and friends that Project 7 was not profitable, disregarding his egregious spending habits.
Yeah, it's more about respect and being fair.
It's about respect,
It's a
man.
cool retro Lancer, but $300.
For your family, you don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
And he doesn't
There
even
were
look like that
plenty
good of a
examples
replica.
DSP's poor spending habits. Few trump his 3 custom-made quilts. These quilts, individually and also factoring inflation, cost Phil a minimum of $1,000. How much was Phil earning?
The good news is this, okay? I am an intelligent person. I'm a finance major. I went to school for finance. I
Okay,
knew day one
sure.
when I started making money off of YouTube that I was going to bank it. I was not going to go out there and invest in things that I couldn't get money out of. I'm still here in the condo. I didn't go out and buy a super overexpensive house, and I didn't go out and buy a sports car. Yes, I am driving a BMW.
I didn't
but
buy
it's
no.
actually a lot more economical than people really.
No. Hold this.
Go out there and invest in things that I couldn't get money out of. I'm still here in the condo. I didn't go out and buy a super overexpensive house and.
The next part better be what I think it is. The next part better be what I think it is. I didn't go out and buy an overexpensive house.
I didn't go out and buy a sports car. Yes, I am driving a BMW, but it's actually a lot more economical than people really think.
On DSP Gaming alone, for the year of 2012, he got 85.19 million views. Dividing that by 1,000 is 85,190. Multiplying that by $2, not $2.25, which it could sometimes be, but $2 as a base CPM for Machinima, excluding the possibility of bonuses, would mean that he made a gross of $170,380 for 2012. The problem now that he was presenting his audience, starting 2013, is that Machinima was renegotiating many of their contracts.
He could have invested that money in so many things that would have paid off. He could have fucking bought stocks with that money.
What this meant for Phil is he went from sometimes earning $2.25 per 1,000 views to a base $2.
In the year of 2012, my views really have dwindled. And what I mean is, I believe in the year of 2011, I probably got somewhere over like 10 to 11 million views on DSP Gaming. And then in 2012, I only barely reached like 8.5 million or something like that. I don't think the final number is in yet.
DSP lied and understates his views by nearly tenfold. Not only is this proven incorrect by archives such as Social Blade, this is proven incorrect directly on his own YouTube channel, where there are screenshots from the start of 2012 to the beginning of 2013 that shows he got nearly 90 million views. It was also here that Phil was toting his financial responsibility.
You don't see me here with super expensive clothes on or anything, and you don't see me wearing jewelry and shit. You know, I'm smart. I've banked my money. So, regardless of what happens
bank my money
next year, I'm still okay. So I just want everyone to understand
We all know that's bullshit.
Phil was ever confident that, even though he was now riding a downward trend, he could survive. His tune would change in the coming months as he would have to navigate troubles that were exclusive to him and the culture he was inadvertently creating.
What could be the two reasons? There are two underlying reasons why he would have made this video. Come on! That's why I didn't want to fucking restart the game. Number one, he's just insanely jealous of me.
Is this the man? Is this the man, the myth, the legend?
Hey, not my fault.
It is! Ladies and gentlemen, raise your hands
one of these gamers,
and
like I
praise
mentioned,
the almighty
who play the games
name of
to feel
Evil AJ.
accomplished. What the fuck? What?
On February 15, 2013, YouTube user EvilAJ2010, in direct response to Phil claiming his videos are well received, uploaded a compilation of Phil's Metal Gear Solid 2 playthroughs with only the clips of his failures or Phil's obscene commentary.
I fucking miss.
Even with that considered, the supercut was nearly an hour long. In addition to this, it included AJ's own text commentary and images of many comments found under Phil's original Let's Play. Where many channels failed to capture the negative yet entertaining aspects of Phil, AJ was succeeding. A month later, in March, his video was up to 77,000 views, and word was spreading.
DSP is a weird guy. It's like a train wreck that you can't look away from, that's on every day 10 times a day.
24 hours.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on.
The reason EvilAJ's video was so successful was both external to Metal Gear Solid and internal. The external elements that bring interest are that DSP has continuously bled viewers through his lack of editing, refusal to use a capture card, and poor gameplay. The elements that are internal, and why Metal Gear Solid was the perfect game to capture the essence of Phil, is foremost that Kojima, the person that heads the creation of the series, is well respected within the gaming community, as are his creations. The Metal Gear Solid series chiefly...
And Phil hates this man. What happened to EvilAJ? He basically retired.
Requires critical thinking, as it is required to appropriately employ every item in your arsenal, as well as to react quickly in tense situations. It also requires patience to be able to learn enemy patrol patterns or learn from one's mistakes. Phil lacks severely in both of these fields and approached Metal Gear Solid 2 as an action game, brute forcing his way through situations that require nuanced approaches, all while criticizing Kojima.
Kojima wants to make movies. Kojima does not want to make video games. He will really, you could tell, he wanted to make a bunch of long movies or miniseries of this stuff.
EvilAJ, in April and July, will go on to release This Is How You Don't Play Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 1 respectively. This manifestation of dislike of Phil could not have come at a worse time for him. Not only were his views plummeting, unrelated to AJ, he was also desperate to staunch the loss of viewership to the point he finally caved in and began using a capture card. He also began live streaming, though he was still not editing his playthroughs and pushing out more videos than the average person cared to watch. Phil was still steeply behind on the curve, losing viewership to rising Let's Players.
How many more people are doing Let's Plays? Like, it's ridiculous the amount of people who have gotten into it, to the point where a website like YouTube, unfortunately, doesn't really feature anyone but the top 2 or 3 guys who are doing it. I mean, let's face it. Why do you always see the same people in, related videos, featured videos? For the person who's not at the tippy top, it's so hard for people to get noticed now on YouTube.
Oh, were you expecting something?
That right there, he's not wrong about. Phil is actually not wrong about that. I will give credit on that point. He is not wrong. That is something that did happen around that time and still happens to this day. In a lot of ways, that still does happen. Even though a number of sites have tried to curtail that, I think Twitch might have tried to do something about that. That is still something that happens. Because the problem is short form content and people's attention spans are fucked. And really, the only way you can do it is like serious word of mouth, is to break out of that mold. Because there was also that time where YouTube was like getting all of these late night TV shows or TV shows onto YouTube because they wanted to be TV. And it absolutely blew up in their faces. Instead of caring about their homegrown talent.
Accumulated viewership was influencing the algorithm to keep advertising his content. The loss of viewership was because people were familiar with what he produced and stayed away from it despite YouTube pushing it.
There's the kind of person who would say, oh no, I lost views, stop my feet, oh man. But I would say, no, I'm going to stay positive, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Phil was losing viewership and supporters. Chris, or Mighty Furtado, the 18-year-old that co-made DSP's website and was responsible for building his computer, actually had a falling out with DSP. starting with Chris calling DSP lazy for initially not wanting to adapt to direct capture, which DSP demanded an apology for. At that point, Chris had had enough and stopped supporting DSP, leaving DSP to purchase the domain back.
Whenever I tried to help, he kind of just shot on me for it. So at that point, I was like, why am I going to support somebody who I've been trying to help for so many years? You know, I co-created him a website, co-created his forums, co-built his gaming PC. I've helped him so much. And when I try to help him try to adapt to direct capture, he's not kind of really taking the suggestions from myself as well as everybody else in the chat during that time.
It doesn't end there. With Chris now persona non grata, DSP made extreme claims without evidence about the price of the PC Chris had built. Chris, not pleased with this, made a video in response.
He had made a video basically stating that he had sent us apparently $3,000, and that wasn't the case.
The actual amount a DSP paid for the PC, as shown through Chris's receipt, and a few $100s extra that was sent, was off by a maliciously large margin.
That is malicious.
I made my own video defending myself, and I had shown the PayPal receipts of DSP sending the $1,600.
DSP to this day cannot provide evidence or reason why he claimed the PC cost $1,400 more than it actually did.
Because he's full of shit.
To make matters even worse, it turns out Chris paid for the shipping out of pocket.
We actually paid an additional $150 from out of pocket from my side just to ship the computer.
That may have been the last of his direct interactions with Phil, but not with others that opposed him. A portion of Chris's second video is in defense of Evil AJ, even showing that he was in communication with him. And then there were videos coming out supporting Chris.
Very recently, there's been a lot of videos that have been coming out on YouTube about DarksydePhil, exposing him or whatever. The one that really got me was the one that was made by Chris, of Chris and Teo, who designed DarksydePhil's website for free and built him a computer.
There was a rising community of support, one that was built on the common dislike of Phil. The threads were being intertwined in such a way that new channels making This Is How You Don't Plays would sometimes pay homage to Evil AJ.
Praise be his name. Oh God!
There are people doing walkthroughs of this game and they just easily jump up here, and I can't do it at all. Look, I can't fucking jump up
Fuck
here.
Sony for taking this fucking video down. I need to redo fucking Black Mesa, but I need somebody to do one that isn't
How are people able to
gonna
jump
copyright
up here?
claim me in the
Look, I
fucking
can't
ass.
jump up here.
Ah, screw Sony. I was so happy. I was so happy with that fucking Let's Survive. No, I want to make the Black Mesa playthrough.
Jump! You fucking idiot! Okay. Whew.
Viewers were quickly realizing that DSP, with his near 4 years on YouTube, had a treasure trove of videos to sift through and inspire compilations.
No, there is
or
no
different
backup. They
forms of
completely
content.
fucking nuked
Whether
it.
it was Pandalee's abrasive personality and dislike of the Kingdom Hearts series,
I'm here trying to play a fucking game.
It was the
it's hard to
sped up,
concentrate.
but it was
with a
the
bunch of
music
little
that played in the
immature
sped up
shits. Get into a fucking
section where he was
argument
trying to
with my
crack
girlfriend.
jump.
Fuck you.
No, I'm
DSP
pretty sure he's not
soundboard.
even a human being, Fanto.
Bullshit, mumblefuck nonsense.
or just DSP's giveaways that would
Oh,
sometimes
Ton, I'm
just
pretty
be
sure he's not
empty
even a
video
human
game
being.
cases.
So to warn everyone, just to show you for full disclosure, no game.
There was so much material dated by his pre-capture card era. Some of these videos were titled DSP Tries It as to try to dominate his own Tries It series on the search results. An additional purpose of these was to create videos that were shorter snippets of DSP rather than the long-form This Is How You Don't Plays. Some just criticized DSP's habits outside of games, like DSP Tries It, compulsive hoarding, and being a man-child. A video that covers Phil's newly released 2013 condo tour that shows just how much worse his living space has gotten.
This is what has happened to my
You know
condo
what?
in the
Hey,
past year.
Joster,
So much
I got a question for you.
stuff
So I picked
that
up
my
a
condo just
long
can't
time ago. I
look
picked
at
up a
it.
collector's
Look at it.
edition
Look,
of
look at
Doom
this.
2016,
Look at the floor,
and I
look
have
at
the
this.
Revenant.
It's a
Should I
fucking
take that out of the
hideous
box
mess.
and put it on display
And
in
I
my
wish-
display
I really
cabinet?
wish that I had somewhere to put this shit.
Or
But I
the-
don't.
I got
Tied
50
to
people
this was the
watching.
curiosity about
Why?
DSP's expenditures. In 2013 alone, he took at least 4 trips. Every one of them, he paid for at least one additional person, whether it was John Rambo or Pandalee.
Okay, see, that's what she usually said. Anyway, here's my thing. Listen to this.
DSP's expenditures. In 2013 alone, he took at least 4 trips. Every
He took 4 trips.
one of them, he paid for at least one additional person, whether it was John Rambo or
It took 20 years for me to take another trip. I'm not trying to make this a woe is me thing. I'm just trying to put it in perspective for people. It was 2 decades before I was able to take another trip.
Or Pen Lee, sometimes both. The reason this was becoming relevant was because of DSP's focus on his decline of views and earnings. His critics could be just as excessive with their own commentary.
Have you been on DarksydePhil's stream when he fucking flips out of people using adblock? About how you're it's like going into his house and robbing him and taking all his shit.
They should find out where he lives and rob him. Like, actually go to his house.
Man, you're taking my money. That's
I
just
went
like
to
if you
Mexico.
use adblock on one of my videos.
It'll take another 2 decades for another one because I'm not making good money for that, am I?
4chan was also in on this, creating green text that accompanied other memes. As to only help the building tension, DSP set out on that accompanied other memes.
Someone, I need this. Someone find this and send this to me.
As to
Someone
only help the
send
building
this
tension,
to me. I
DSP
need
set
to know.
out
I
on
need
attacking
that.
other creators whose channels towered over his own.
Holy shit!
Find
Another
that meme.
YouTuber who's not a giant fucking Tobuscus PewDiePie idiot who loves gaming, is doing it for the love of gaming, and he's actually showing up in my fucking related channels.
PewDiePie's channel had over 100 times the subscribers that Phil had, and there was no doubt that they shared viewers, so these comments assured that those viewers would not return to Phil. What's more is that Phil would talk about how big of a fan PewDiePie was of him.
Yeah, that's right. PewDiePie has said he was inspired by me to make videos. He used to watch my content back when he had no money to buy games. He would watch me play the games. That's how he got the idea to make his content.
PewDiePie did in fact like some of DSP's videos back in 2011, though as Phil's barrage continued, PewDiePie would have a change in opinion. As for now, the other leading channel that he was personally at odds with was Tobuscus, who launched his own gaming channel. On top of that, he promoted NCAA Football 2013, and his video on it was used as an advertisement for the game on YouTube. Phil, displeased with what he perceived as YouTube advertising his competitors, was quick to make a rant on it.
And here's why I'm upset. I'm not upset that he's advertising the game. That's fine. It's even a gaming-related ad. I understand why.
Phil was never a good person.
But at the end of the fucking ads, there's a link to his channel.
Phil was thoroughly lambasting entertainers and games that his audience enjoyed. Games that were rising in popularity like Minecraft for its lack of story. This made the rounds so much that even the creator of Minecraft commented on it. Because of DSP's rapid decline, there was inversely
you know what notch
a
has that
lucrative
Phil
market
doesn't
to
have?
make content criticizing DSP.
Money.
A group of creators would soon fly a banner that would be seen across various channels. The Kojima World Order, or the KWO, was a unifying group for what was being called troll or detractor channels. The origin of the name came from Phil himself and his criticisms of Kojima.
I'm joining the Kojima World Order as of right now. Everything that Kojima has made is godlike, without question. Kojima World Order. Kojima World Order.
2013 ended far differently than it began.
Because there's the difference. There's the difference, okay? Because the Kojima World Order was just a bunch of artists that were making this is how you don't play videos, making fun of Phil, and that was it. The SOK were a bunch of artists that were completely fucking always online A-logs who were fucking over Phil with false copyright claims and fucking each other over and doxing dead girls.
With DSP's views still on decline and a decline in how DSP was viewed, it made for Phil's worst year yet. And in 2014, the detractor videos and memes evolved rapidly. Phil could only add fuel to their fire.
Okay, what is up, everybody? DarksydePhil here, and welcome to Release Day Unboxing for Tuesday, February 11th, 2014. And before everyone says...
Not entirely, but you gotta remember, like, the KWO was more of a...
high-pitched droning sound going on.
The KWO was... The KWO was more of a... It was more of an in-joke than anything else. It wasn't anything to be taken seriously. It was just an in-joke, less than an actual group of people.
That is the fire alarm in my
The
condo.
unboxing without the fucking unboxing.
The
Yeah.
problem is, the fire alarm in this condo facility has a
I
nasty
can't
habit
remember her
during the
name,
middle of the
but
winter,
there was a
especially when it's
girl
very cold,
who
of going off
had been
as
on
a
a few
malfunction.
SLK videos.
That was from DSP's
and had
release day
passed away. I
unboxing
think
video.
she
The first 3
was the
minutes, Phil
girlfriend
is
of
talking
Shay, I
about the
think.
ongoing fire
Again,
alarm.
that-
Then he
it's
shifts
been
to
so
criticizing
long.
prior games. Then to the fire alarm, and then DSP picks up the camera, takes it to the door, and shows he stuffed paper towels in the slits to muffle some of the ongoing alarm. In the entire 14 minutes, DSP
Alice, that
failed
was
to
it.
open
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
quote-unquote unbox the
Alex-
game.
Alice had-
This screenshot,
passed
which
away.
included DSP's comment realizing his mistake tied to the title of the video, is what DSP was now known for. Though few videos of his own rarely capture this entertainment from failure in such a way.
What's up, boss? Is it time?
As predictable as Phil was in the gaming space with his commentary, his decisions, especially the financial ones, were seldom predictable. Phil, mid-2014, finally committed to move. Some discernible reasons for a move were mainly tied to having a larger living space allowing for more storage, and would give Phil and Panda Lee their own space as they were seeking to move in together. Common strategies would suggest Phil would either sell or rent his condo and then move in somewhere close by. This would allow easy access to the condo for maintenance. The social elements are as important, like his friends and family that were all living in Bridgeport. With this in mind, what does Phil do?
I got the confirmation over the weekend that we are good to go. We are closing this week. By the end of this week, I will be the owner of a beautiful new townhouse / condo in Washington State. It's probably going to cost me about $7,500. I shit you not, it's that expensive to move across the country.
Phil had decided to move from Connecticut to quite literally across the country to Washington to purchase a condo for $265,000.
Fucking hell! I could buy a fucking house! You could buy an actual fucking house for that much! For less than that! For a fucking fraction of that! No, fuck this. Give me a minute. 2 seconds. I'm gonna take a goddamn minute. I don't know if Joon is gonna do it, but I'm gonna fucking do it. I just found out. I just found a house. Literally, just found a house right now. It is a 2-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. It looks really fucking nice. Really fucking nice. Nice back garden needs some work, but it definitely is spacious. 2 bedrooms, but you can use 1 as a goddamn fucking office because one of them clearly looks like it already is. 190,000. I found another one here for 165,000.
What's more, for 2013, with Phil's viewership on his main channel, he had made just shy of $100,000 gross, a steep decline.
I fucking found one right here for 85,000. I found one here for I found a 2-bedroom house here. It's not, doesn't exactly look the biggest, but it's here for £85,000. That is that will equivalent that and say £90,000.
From the 100.
He spent over $250,000.
$70,000 gross in 2012. This indicates continued loss of revenue and pressure to pull back on spending. And even though Phil should have money saved up, he was still petitioning his audience for donations.
Right now, I'll be honest with everyone, the past month to 2 months, April and now May, up to now have been pretty slow. But, you know, I needed a little bit of help in these times when things are slow.
Hey, who wants to hear the really fucked thing? Who wants to hear the fucked thing, ladies and gentlemen? Who wants to hear the actual fucked thing? I am not kidding. I shit you not that I just found this. I found a 3-bedroomed house not too far away from me. 3-bedroom house for £185,000. £185,000. Yes, a 3-bedroom house in Greater Manchester for £185,000. We'll average that out and say $190. $190,000. That is $70,000 less than what Phil spent.
Okay.
The situation he was revealing
I
was
just
far
needed
more
to make my
dire
point.
than initially thought. Phil was technically still in debt as he paid the minimum on his mortgage for his Connecticut condo, and as later revealed, Phil, as he claims, emptied his bank account to finance a move, meaning somehow the hundreds of thousands of dollars he should have saved were supposedly gone. In addition to this, he began using credit
He
cards
bought a
to continue
condo
his
for
lavish
that.
lifestyle that was far beyond unsupportable. Quote, I'm a successful YouTuber and lots of people dislike me because I am successful and outspoken. I should have signed up here with a different name, but I didn't think that far ahead. I may do so now, unquote.
Well.
This was Phil in a forum for the mobile game WWE Supercard, which is essentially a collectible card game of sorts with an emphasis
It's
on
ridiculous.
microtransactions themed around the well-known American wrestling organization. Quote, I just got my second in the Hulk Hogan Challenge and spent around $200. For $1,200, I think, you can buy a pack of 1,500 title matches, which is enough to win the event doing straight +5s, unquote. The jargon around the game was hardly interesting to any detractor. What was Phil's knowledge of the cost of items and his spendings of potentially thousands of real-life dollars in a time he supposedly did not have any money to spend. Yet, he was financing
Have I
Panda Lee's
fucked
new
about
soap
Dragon
making
Age
business.
Veilguard?
Phil also renewed the lease on a BMW that he would drive at most 2,000 miles a year. Evidence of Phil's poor spending had been mounting for some time, but never has it
public
been this
transportation.
overwhelming.
Once my equipment shows up, my new PC, I'm hoping to get to work with higher quality videos for you guys. So next week will be an interesting week to test it, right?
1, 2, 3, or 4 if you include the capture card Phil is using. That's how many capture cards Phil has. He purchased 3 new ones to test them out. The comments discussed the absurdity of Phil's purchases. Quote, lol. So he ordered 1 capture card, changed his mind, and bought another. Then changed his mind again and bought another, all before the first could even be delivered? You got more money than sense, or your credit card debt is rising. Wouldn't it be worth doing some research before buying them? Dude, you could just figure this stuff out with a Google search. Lol. Unquote.
You
What the
asked
comments
too much
miss
of this
is that
fool.
Phil also bought a new, pre-built PC from CyberPower within the week of the capture card video, and did the unboxing live, taking his chance to mock the PC Mighty Frittata built for him by stating,
This is how you do ship a PC. We already got a broken piece of plastic. Already a broken piece of plastic. That might be why the top is moving. It's the post that goes through that holds this in place broke off in shipping.
the price of the PC was $3,000. Here it is in action.
What the hell? The game's choppy as fuck on my
This is not a good fucking representation.
new PC. Great.
First of all, Phil's probably got all that bloatware on there, hasn't updated the drivers or anything like that. But here's the thing. Rage is infamous for how bad it is.
So he didn't know that there was an option to switch from encoding with your CPU and encoding with your GPU. Like, he just didn't know how to use his PC.
It freaking maxed
And
it
then-
out. It went
then-
to 100%.
then
So I
there's
cannot
also that.
play a PC game on 1080p 60 frames per second and capture and stream at the same time. It doesn't work.
The irony of all this is that Phil later cited Seattle's tech sector as one of the reasons for the move, despite not having any formal education or even general competence in the field. As for the exorbitant spending on equipment, DSP could cite that he was trying to improve the quality of his streams and also deduct the purchases for taxes, but he was ignoring the fact that gaming content was being improved by editing the unnecessary parts out. Phil was still refusing to do this. His cited reason, he was a gamer. Quote, I'm a gamer, not a video editor, entertainer, actor. I like to play games, not edit videos of them. Unquote. His choice of trying to improve the visual quality and not the experience of his streams was turning around to bite him at every angle. In November of 2014, a Twitch mod jumped into Phil's streams requesting he lower his bitrate. This is basically asking him to lower the quality. While Phil complied, he was unhappy with the outcome, especially with all the money he invested in improving the visual quality. In an act of defiance, Phil deleted his Twitch account, opting to stream on YouTube where he would not be burdened with Twitch's limitations. This move, that was meant to increase viewership via higher quality streams, actually had Phil lose viewership, as few Twitch native users were loyal enough to migrate. Phil was now going from blunder to blunder, miscalculating, misunderstanding, failing only in ways he could. For example, he allegedly launched a fan art campaign. The participants on Twitter gleefully joined in and shared their art. Only they weren't. The participants on Twitter gleefully joined in.
Dude, again, what is some of this art? Like, seriously, do I need to show good art again? Say that PC is better to have for streaming games. Yes. In many regards, yes, I would. But you got to keep on top of that shit.
Their art. Only they weren't
I need to
this
upgrade
contrast,
my
this
shit.
continued failure was
I need to
too
get
much
a better,
to even be documented.
I need to get a better
there
CPU,
was a nuance to
CPU
DSP's thought process
PC
that was demanding exploration and criticism, especially when, in December of 2014, Phil was playing with the idea of starting a Patreon. But also in December, he was making more vlogs showing his continued poor spending habits that were discourteous even to his parents that Phil set up in a hotel instead of having them stay in the condo.
My parents are visiting for the Christmas week holiday, and they actually took the car. That's right, I let them take the BMW. So yeah, that's a lot of trust, but I trust my parents. They actually are staying at a hotel that's less than 10 minutes away. We got them up, we set them up at room and board. It's a nice hotel that has a big suite.
Why?
It's got its own
Actively watching DSP, who was streaming around 6 times a week for several hours at a time, was no small feat. What started as laughing at Phil's terrible gameplay had turned into a higher investment into his continuing dramas.
Kept your super chat waiting,
drama in 2014.
And remember, one of Phil's long-running lies was having a business degree but really having a financial degree too. Similar degrees but also different.
Yeah, that's... They are different because a business degree focuses on the aspects of running a business. Runs on, if I recall correctly, predicates on how to, run an actual business, like the startup, the management, shit like that. That's what a business degree is. Financial degree is working predominantly in obviously the financial side of things, like the calculations, how much would go where, like that kind of stuff. Being able to manage all of that. They are two completely different degrees. If my remembrance of what a business degree and a financial degree is.
Spending and conflict with creators like PewDiePie,
which if he's got a financial degree, just makes you question how the fuck he ended up going bankrupt to begin with, but also explains how he got away with bankruptcy.
Was now in on making fun of Phil. Phil's e-begging, conflicts, forum drama, a list of over 2,000 words. The most shocking fact was that it was still missing a fair amount of Phil's exploits. To capture it all and understand it all for entertainment was a process that loses its entertainment value. The majority of people are only interested in the wildest clips of Phil. Then you have those that watch hour-long This Is How You Don't plays, then those that interact with Phil to try to get a rise from him and seek discussion of him.
I feel like I'm being called out there. I feel like I'm being called out.
Only interested in the wildest clips of Phil. Then you have those that watch hour-long This Is How You Don't plays, then those that interact with Phil to try to get a rise from him and seek discussion of him. And then you have an entirely different people. One that tops the spectrum of investment and are not motivated by entertainment, but malice.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
SOK.
Hello everyone and welcome to the SOK cast.
Fuck these
you guys want to introduce yourselves? I'd be more than
What's going on, everybody? Fred Fucks again.
And Superior Artist, or Superior Snorres.
This is Renegade Operative here.
Evil AJ 2010 here.
And SOK.
And Carson, right?
Yeah,
Miles.
And we are going to be joined by Lupo572 shortly.
That was the Sons of Kojima podcast. This channel rallied the prominent detractors of DSP. Fred Fox was at the helm, a name chosen through an angry video game nerd video.
Fred Fox?
There are many things that make this channel exceptionally unique. Primarily is that this is a dedicated channel that trumps all others in terms of effort. The members that ebb and flow always had Fred Fox pathing the way, creating multi-hour-long podcasts, and though they put in much effort, they were getting arguably the least amount of traction for their investment. Rarely do detractors get less views than Phil himself, but when it came to the SOK, rarely did any other videos ever outperform Phil. The reason was that they were at the highest tier of investment in terms of Phil. They reached an extremely niche audience in an already superbly niche environment. Where the majority of videos were made to laugh at Phil's failures, the Sons of Kojima was trying to interact with Phil and in many ways make his life worse. On the surface, they will promote what they believed was their moral superiority by leading a charity drive that funded the construction of a well in Africa. But they, mostly through Fred Fox's will, attempted to dictate detractor communities beyond their own. They made the rule that detractors cannot monetize their channels and or make profit through Phil as to remain morally superior. Yet they, in the background, would work with others to strike Phil with illegitimate copyright strikes. Fan art played a central role in this campaign. In 2015, the Sons of Kojima ran free, and it's difficult to say how many trolling campaigns they were launching during this time. A time where Phil's views, for now the third year straight in 2015, were on a steep decline. The trolling community was active like never before, and Phil continued to suffer from the ramifications of his terrible financial decisions. Possibly to offset his continued losses,
he also
Phil
brought everybody else down
to
with
launching this Patreon. But there was an issue. There was already a DarksydePhil Patreon. This had many subscription tiers. On the lowest side was $1, or this is how you don't donate tier. On the highest end was the 7 million tier, or the theft tier. In between these
okay, that's some fucking dedication.
Were 15 more tiers, littered with inside jokes making fun of Phil. This parody Patreon, as it reserved the name DarksydePhil, was sequestered, and in January, Phil launched his Patreon to mediocre success. In February, the number of patrons Phil launched his Patreon.
I don't know, mediocre success. That's fucking far more money, much money than I got. That to me is a lot.
To mediocre success. In February, the number of patrons greatly rose to 74, paying out a total of 1,000.
And then there's that shit. Like, you might as well give that. You might as well fucking piss that money away, or give it to the Democratic Party. Either way, it's lost. Sorry. I just had to get that joke in.
What influenced the surge was Phil redesigning his Patreon to center around milestones that once hit would guarantee the release of a video or a stream around a game, like Minecraft, that Phil had a change of heart with. Fans now understood that this was not so much a donation, but a guarantee, held by Patreon's milestone goals and Phil's own words.
But it's not just a way of saying, here, take my money, and thank you. It's a way of investing. You spoke in droves and said, we don't just want pure raw gameplay anymore. We want montages. We want better edited content in addition to the raw gameplay.
You got none of that.
You get what you want.
Get fucked.
This had the added benefit of regaining some favor with his audience. He even began releasing edited montages around months or just his own game series. These, by their nature, were meant to compete against This Is How You Don't plays, or at least capture some of the market. As they failed to compete with them or even just surpassed his raw gameplay videos, he reserved them to a Patreon tier. Also during this time, some videos criticizing DSP were being taken down. While DSP blames these takedowns on Machinima acting in their own interest, viewers took it as DSP wanting to suppress the negative attention. As these takedowns happened in March, the channels willing to fight the claims were reinstated.
You know what I do with that money?
But when they were reinstated, they were immediately claimed, meaning that they could remain up, but all the money would go to Machinima. This same month, DSP released a video of him performing various actions in front of a green screen. It only took one day for a scathing video that utilized the green screen footage to be released.
I want you to get a real job.
Decline in views, his alcoholism, and the copyright strikes applied to detractor channels. Additionally, Phil's diet of fast foods was coming back at him in full force. After all, current day, there is at least 17.5 hours of footage of Phil consuming fast foods or foods of similar quality.
My foot is incredibly swollen. You cannot tell from what I wanted to show you there. It's about, I'd say about 1.5 times the chubbiness of my other foot. So after doing a bunch of research online and after what everyone's been telling me, it sounds to me like I might have gout.
Gout, or historically known as the disease of kings, is caused from a diet abundant of alcohol and red meats. This news spread quickly.
He has gout? How do you...
Radica!
Does he have?
Is he dead yet? I'm sorry. That was such a cruel, mean way to put that. But the last time I heard about Medicare is he stopped uploading and stopped streaming because like his condition had gotten worse, and everybody thought he'd actually died. And then he came back, and I haven't heard anything about him since. So like, is he actually dead at this point? Like, this man has been like, we turn around and say that Phil has been perpetually broke for years. Medicare has been perpetually dying for years at this point.
Gout, copyright strikes, continued loss of viewerships, and the rise of the sons of Kojima were only the start of Phil's difficulties for 2015. His financial situation had gotten to the point that he was selling his statues that he could not accurately declare the quality of.
The back of the box, as you can see, very durable. When it moved, it even got a little nick in it, but it did absolutely no damage to anything inside.
Schrodinger's Medica, exactly steel.
His comb has damage.
His will is too damn strong.
As poor as Phil was with communication, there was one instance that him reaching out very well saved his life.
They'll all be super... Uh-oh. Hold on. Hold on, everyone. I think I might have some cops outside. Hold on.
In the afternoon of June 24, 2015, someone called Phil's local police department claiming they had shot their parents and had a hostage. This was a swatting, and the police had to respond. Luckily, Phil had called ahead in fears that something like this would happen. Due to that, and because the caller did not identify themselves, they went in with the expectation that they were possibly not in danger. If not for these circumstances, this visit could have ended far worse.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
If you ever made a "this is how you don't play" about me, if you ever decided to follow...
Phil overstretched his hand here. Phil overstretched his hand here because everybody, fucking everybody in their right mind would condemn this. Whether it was an actual fucking... Whether it was one of those break down the fucking doors with M4s at the fucking ready swatting, or them just showing up at his house because, you know, he called a fucking head because, you know, this shit tends to happen. Yeah, the FBI open up fucking me. Regardless, anybody with their right mind would have condemned this fucking swatting. Anybody. Anybody with a fucking functioning brain cell would. Okay? But Phil overplayed his hand here by umbrella grouping everybody together.
Follow me, make a clone account on Twitter, do this childish shit on YouTube. If you thought it was funny to dox me, if you thought it was the DDoS attacks were funny, you almost got me killed. You. Yes, you.
This shifting of blame and unjustly targeting the detractor community as a whole for the deranged acts of one person further soured relations with the detractors, yet gained a bit of sympathy for those that were not in this vortex. Phil was frustrated not just at the detractors, but also the fact that the media was not picking up on the story.
Doxing is never okay. The problem you face when you are DSP is DSP doxed himself. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This dumb son of a bitch doxed himself. Doxed himself.
Meaning that this message that the detractors as a whole were at fault was contained to his own platform. Little did Phil know there was more negative attention on him than ever before. His streams, tweets, forums, Patreon were all being monitored and archived. The following month, Phil on his own forums equated using the chat function on his live streams but not donating as loitering. But it's okay because he's lenient. As much as he claims to be, his audience from both sides were not convinced, especially with the troubles on his Patreon. A new milestone goal at $1,250 was Project 7 Rebirth. Quote, if this goal is reached, I will take away at least 2 days, if not 1 to 2 full days in August to write, record, and work on the renewal of Project 7, with the hope that I'll at least have something to show for it by the end of the month. Unquote. In no way, other than to drive Patreon donations, does this goal make sense. The original Project 7 was a failure by all aspects, and now Phil was here offering to relaunch the series with just 2 days of work. Likely due to this, viewers were asking John Rambo if he was playing a part in it. Coincidentally, John Rambo on his own channel released a skit perhaps related to the news.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm special because I upload videos to the internet. But being so important does have its dark side. In fact, it means that my life is much more difficult than everyone else's. This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website.
Fuck's sake. God damn it. That actually got me. Well done, Rambo. Ran, well done.
That allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. Simply log in and transfer the entirety of your bank account into my Pay Me Tons account. I won't even get out of bed for less than $50.
With Phil's relation with John Rambo in disarray and no feasible way to relaunch Project 7, in August he announced the project would not be coming to fruition and would be replaced by another goal. Similarly, his Alan Wake montage that the patrons voted for would also be cancelled after a single episode.
Oh, good. The power went out. I'm not even kidding you.
Almost as if it was retaliatory, fan art that Phil used in his videos was being used to illegitimately strike his channels. To avoid further strikes, he deleted the videos that included the art, which amounted to 600 videos off his channel. This amounted to around 4 million views removed, and on Social Blade it showed that for the month of August he netted a total of negative 1.37.
Goddamn, the last time I saw something drop that hard, the fucking Hindenburg was going down.
Through a strange, unverifiable string of events, that this deletion of views was causing a drop-off in his channel. In this near 44-minute, long-winded video, Phil recounts to his audience that it was Machinima that instructed him to delete those 600 videos that caused a small dent in his total viewership, but does not provide evidence of Machinima doing so because he claims he was instructed via a conference call. Then he claims an anonymous insider told Phil that this subtraction of views brought him down in the invisible total rankings and that YouTube was still using that archaic system of promoting videos via their channel's total accumulated views. The only thing is that all existing evidence works against him. The strongest evidence is in his Social Blade. Contrary to what he is stating, he has had far worse drop-offs in views, and actually late 2015 were the most stable than they'd ever been. For November of 2011, he was losing over 1 million viewers on a daily basis. Yet now, in late 2015, he was worried about a small fluctuation of around 200,000 viewers. What's more, the deleted views against Phil's total views would have been so insignificant, it would have no effect on his channel. Then again, there is a benefit in framing this natural downward trend as an emergency.
But when this shit happens with YouTube and I have no control over it, I need your help. And if you really want to help, Patreon's the way. $1 a month.
This hardly helped his Patreon that was already being scrutinized due to his unfulfilling of initial goals. And more than just his patrons were distrusting of Phil. On Thanksgiving 2015, Phil uploaded an Ask the King episode where he answered fan questions.
Still add
fans
goals on
seeking an
Patreon?
update on John Rambo as
Like
Phil
I said,
really stood with him.
I've said
I hope that people don't take this the wrong way.
I'm gonna
but
open
in
up a
life, if
fucking
you
game
have
server.
something that you
Or
want to
public
say,
power.
or you have an issue with someone, all
24
right,
hour.
say it, bring it up, hash it out. If something happens and you don't bring it up and you let resentment build up, that's when relationships get ruined, right?
Fans unsated with Phil's answer, like with the relaunch of Project 7, were reaching out to John Rambo on Thanksgiving to ask how he felt about Phil. 2 days later, on November 28th, they, including Phil, were given their answer.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard.
This was the same podcast that was used earlier in this video that talked about the production of Project 7. John Rambo decided to upload this to a separate channel and then deleted it about a day after. Then it was re-uploaded in perpetuity by channels archiving the material. And so in permanence was this about hour-and-a-half podcast of evidence where John Rambo details his falling out with Phil. From Phil unfollowing him on Twitter, to
I
Phil
haven't seen Miles since I
messaging
came back.
him late at
Yeah.
night while watching their Let's Plays, and not
Hoping
calling
he's
him
doing
even
well.
though John Rambo said he preferred that over text.
Might be able-
It was all this, plus other minute issues like merchandise both parties invested in, Phil's susceptibility to trolling, his self-destructive tendencies, and other private elements that caused this falling out. At the end, John Rambo offers an olive branch by stating that a phone call could fix this. But Phil never did call. And so Phil lost touch with the last friend he had.
Oh, that is beautiful. I don't care what you two men say. That
And
is.
so Phil lost
Oh,
touch
with the
with the last
cowboy
friend
hat
he
and
had.
Rambo's hat. Oh,
Not even a month later, now
that's-
closing 2015, Machinima informed Phil that they will no longer honor the $2 CPM contract and would instead swap to paying him with the raw ads, which would further decrease his earning potential. Everything appeared to be working against him, and the idea that was meant to breathe life into his channel did not come. What did come was something else.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, something came, alright. Fuck's sake.
What is up, everyone? Hello, hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh?
Phil attempted to dismiss what he was doing by saying he was doing quote-unquote various stuff, like scratching his leg. The bombardment of memes and other media will not allow Phil to dismiss this so easily. It was already clear that he was pleasuring himself on stream and forgot to turn the camera off. Keemstar, the owner of Drama Alert, a trending drama channel at the time, quickly picked up the story. It was then that Phil came clean and admitted to what he was doing. After Drama Alert and the internet as a whole spread the news, DarksydePhil would be known, above all else, for this.
No fucking way! The fucking Sun talked about this!
Would be known.
The fucking Daily Star talked about it! Oh my fucking god. Some of you guys won't know the significance of this, but Mitch will. And anybody in the UK will know the significance of the fact that the fuck I didn't even know the Sun and the Daily Star had talked about this.
Above all else, for this. A new nickname was passed around as DSP would be known as the Guy.
You didn't even know the camera was on.
Every inch of my dick and balls, right?
Because in theoretical conversation, when one introduces the subject of DarksydePhil, the other participant would respond with, "Is that the guy that pleasured himself on stream?" Phil handled this remarkably well, making jokes about it and accepting his new identity in stride.
You're absolutely right. That's what I'm known for.
You got exposed for doing that.
I got completely exposed.
His partners at Machinima were not so enthused, and sought to take down any re-upload they could find of the event. Whatever goodwill Phil had gained through the acceptance of this recent event was quickly lost. In this single post on his forums, he insults 3 different creators who have audiences larger than his. He calls Total Biscuit's reviews overanalyzing, calls Jim Sterling's reviews his.
Fuck you. Fuck you. No. That I take fucking serious umbrage with.
He calls Total Biscuit's reviews overanalyzing, calls Jim Sterling's reviews that fool you into thinking they're intelligent with fancy wording, and Avery Jones' reviews bloated with skits and cosplay for kiddies to retain attention. The cherry on top was the purpose of this post was to represent his own views.
I mean, Jim Sterling did eventually lose his fucking mind.
Or if you actually want an honest review from an honest guy who's played video games all his life, has a huge wealth of experience/knowledge to draw upon, and doesn't have any bias towards anything, you can watch.
I'm sorry. You cannot. You genuinely cannot use that fucking sentence. An honest guy who has played video games all his life, has a huge wealth of experience and knowledge to draw upon. You cannot use that when you are trying to critique Total Biscuit. That man fucking lived, breathed, and eventually died for video games. Fuck you. And I mean that in the sincerest way possible, because Total Biscuit did inspire me as well. You can go fuck yourself, Phil.
Watch my review. Unquote. Persisting on this path of self-destruction, the following month, Phil made an Instagram post calling PewDiePie's new book meaningless for brain-dead idiots. This produced a response from PewDiePie, who simply responded with, quote, "DSP upset he can't read," unquote. The source of Phil's frustration was his continued bleeding of views. He was jealous, and over several posts on his forums, relentlessly defended the idea that not editing his Let's Plays is what made him popular, while simultaneously furious
my
at being
vacation
disadvantaged,
was good, Sammy.
stating
Thank
that
you.
the only barrier between him and hiring an editor is money. There was something different in Phil going on here. A panic, a lashing out, a misrepresentation of the truth.
Fucking
not to
broke.
trick his viewership, but to try to fool himself. He was not concocting long-standing lies that would reach various people or form some campaign of misinformation or unverifiable fact. He was arguing with individual members on his forums with multi-paragraph long responses. As the users had grown accustomed to, Phil was blaming "this is how you don't plays" for his failings, calling them slanderous. A user of his chat was even banned for stating that they enjoyed their job and wouldn't prefer streaming. Phil was fighting with the very concept that the loss of viewership was his fault. It's a wonder what this fight with reality was doing to him. Out of his continued desperation, he was back on Twitch asking for more paid subscribers. Phil's loss of viewership had him left with the most dedicated supporters and detractors watching his streams. The worst part for Phil was this balancing act between dismissing detractors and appeasing supporters. Quote, I seriously need to start convincing people that YouTube isn't going to support me anymore, so they need to pledge a Patreon and or sub, give bits here. Because at this rate, it's a joke. I'm on pace to make half as much in December this year as I did last year,
my
playing
asshole
4 new
bleeds fire that
games.
you
Just got
piss your money
notification my
away.
bank account is overdrawn. Luckily, my Machinima payment is literally coming through today. Unquote. To add salt to the wound, the infamous clip of Phil was strong in circulation even at the end of 2016.
That face.
2017 started just as bad for Phil, as he announced that he had been renting his condo out in Connecticut, but that was no longer the case. More would be lost this year than any other. On February 26, 2017, Phil participated with his viewers in a game of Quiplash 2. A game with pre-established questions that could be answered in any way.
This can only
The
end
goal
well.
is to win the favor of the competitors with the most compelling answer. This quickly delved into the memes both surface level and personal around Phil. For example, his seal laugh or ack ack ack.
TSP tries a KFC Gold Chicken or make more ad revenue than Phil.
Fucking laugh, man.
Cow bark or ag 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 ag. They're both good.
None of these had any major effect as Phil played along with the roasts. It wasn't until a player shoehorned in an answer that caused chaos.
Oh no.
Leanna, I don't even know what that means. Leanna's fake engagement ring.
Oh!
What
Here
does
we
that
go.
mean? I never gave her an engagement ring, so I don't know what that even means. I don't understand. Is there something in the detractor circles about a fake engagement ring? What are you talking about? I didn't give her an engagement ring. What? People are weird. What does that even mean? There's some stupid inside joke that I don't
Here
understand.
we go.
What does that mean? It won, and it makes no sense whatsoever to anyone who's not into their inclusive circle jerking circle. That made no sense at all. What does that mean?
The ring!
Is there actually like some kind of a joke about an engagement ring? Huh? Leanna posted it on her own Twitter. What are you talking about? It's about one of her Twitter pictures? What are you talking about? That's hilarious because that just shows how mind-fucked and stupid the people are who do this shit. These detractor idiots. Because no human would know what the fuck they're talking about. It's some completely insane.
Dude, it was on her Twitter!
That no one would know anything about at all. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero fucking sense. And yet it ends up being the big winner at the end of the game. That's so fucking stupid.
Yes.
As was revealed to Phil through a video game, Panda Lee had been wearing a fake engagement ring to her job. Dissatisfied in the relationship and the lack of progress towards marriage, this was her way of lashing out and participating in the drama on Twitter. Quote, oh shit, he knows about the fake engagement ring I wear to work that I wear all the time? How could he have known? Unquote. Panda Lee then posted the ring itself, captioned with Ringgate 2017. Panda Lee allegedly also took off work to experience the live drama that was unfolding. With her displeasure with Phil near its climax, it was a surprise they did not separate there.
By the
the
way,
limelight instead was Machinima.
I'm just trying to, I do recall people saying, this is the interview, or this is the documentary that was being made, that people were debating and questioning if Phil was going to back the fuck out of, correct? And I'm going to assume, considering we have heard nothing from Phil this entire time, he in fact bitch quit out, didn't he?
With the apocalypse in full swing, earnings down, and the company model a complete failure, they had less support to answer creators who were feeling the brunt of the loss of ad revenue. Phil, being one of these creators, reached out, but Machinima was slow to answer, and so he was emailing not just former employees that had been fired without his
it was
knowledge,
the Mickey
but
Klum?
emergency
Okay,
contacts
the
meant
Mickey-
for dire
the Mickey
situations.
Klum. Okay, right.
That's when on February
Did he
28th,
actually
a
do it?
Machinima employee reached out to Phil and gave him the basic advice
Oh,
to increase his audience
the
retention
Mike
and
Klum.
kindly to
Okay,
not
the
message
Mike
other
Klum
departments.
documentary that he
Phil's
did back
full
out. So
alleged
he
response
did
was
back
locked
out of
in
it.
on
Fucking
Machinima's
knew he
request
would.
to not message other departments. Phil used his history with the company as a reason to act in the way he pleases and demands better treatment. If he is not
Fucking
treated
knew he
better,
would.
he states he is better off not working with them. Machinima, more than happy to oblige, released
Fired
Phil
him!
from the contract. After all, per their
Bye-bye!
contract, they were only losing money with Phil because he was earning 100%
Missed
of the
opportunity
ad
for a
revenue.
pink slip to come
Phil
out.
was relating this moment to when he got fired from his office job in 2010. As seen per Fred Fox capturing of Phil's Twitch chats, Phil was acting as if he was blindsided by his own requests, stating, quote, "There is no 2 or 1 month notice. That is complete BS, lol, but this situation is pretty unique," unquote. In a video released shortly after, Phil dissects his separation of Machinima, then dissects it again and again and again, then loses his train of thought, thanks his followers, asks for donations, and again restates what has been overtly established, yet never provides a satisfactory answer. That's why his video is nearly 2 hours long to explain that the contract with Machinima has been terminated. And as per the description, quote, "I cannot give all the details, but in this video I explain what's going on," unquote. This is all beyond minutia. That besides Phil's uncreditableness or dishonest nature is why few would ever care for
fucking
his
love
side
this
of the events.
PS1 fucking
His
Phil.
long-windedness buries his own reasoning or retelling of events even further than his several uploads a day do. For any controversial moment, Phil is certain to extend what should be a clear and concise response
Oh, no,
into
Machinima was going down the
multi-page long
fucking
essay
shitter.
or hour-long video. It took about 10 days or so for Phil's channel to be fully released. And then, it took about an additional week for him to fight various content ID claims himself, as would normally be the responsibility of Machinima. Phil was quick to find a different multi-channel network to partner with. This time it was Curse. Unlike Machinima, who was trying to inflate the numbers, Curse did not give Phil a 100% cut of ad revenue, nor was he in a managed partnership. This means that they would not be responsible for his 30 or so content ID claims that he was getting a day on his 40,000 uploaded videos.
God, I fucking know.
The ongoing developments of 2017 were scarcely predictable. In April, Phil submitted to Paneli's request and per her Instagram post, were now engaged. The detractors' persistent monitoring allowed them to find the ring almost immediately. It was one that Paneli personally liked on her Black Currant account, which is the name of her soap-making business. Detractors, tracing this back to Amazon, found that Phil had spent on the lower end for this ring. A testament to his detractors' obsession and or Phil's dwindling finances. By May, Phil had concluded a 2-month-long talk with a different network that introduced themselves as Poltavi.
Phil with that beard looks
They
like a
offered
fucking
Phil
potato.
cut similar to Curse and a managed partnership. And while he found Poltavi
No,
unprofessional
fuck it.
in
No
their
way.
exchange,
No way. No, you're lying.
he found their offer to be too enticing to give up, and severed his partnership with Curse, though Phil had made a great mistake. Poltavi's unprofessional nature was foreboding, and they quickly turned around and disregarded the partner element. With all this happening in the background, the sons of Kojima found out, through Phil's channel's source page, that he had a new partnership. Not with Curse or even Poltavi as Phil understood it. He was
Lavaria.
partnered with an entirely new network known as Lavaria Media, and
the
as
scam.
revealed, was using Poltavi as a front to disguise their own network and shady practices. The CEO was found to be just a student at a university. Phil, understanding his mistake, sought to leave his new network. The sons of Kojima allegedly even got the CEO of Lavaria Media on for one of their podcasts. This was a confusing set of events for everyone involved. While all this was going on, Phil was in the process of purchasing a new car. For the past 6 years, he had been leasing a BMW. In the last 3 years, he had only driven the BMW 6,000 miles, and so never changed the oil.
Yeah, BMW, you're supposed to get maintenance for free. No
I
matter
know.
what. That's
Not
part
with
of
them-
the deal. That's
not
why
with what they did.
the car is so expensive. And they never, they never contacted us to get it changed.
Phil's audience long understood he was financially illiterate, but hadn't been yet exposed to how illiterate he was with cars or the contracts related to them. That's why, whenever other content creators discover both, it makes for an interesting watch.
In 3 years, we only drove the car 6,000 miles. So, if that gives you any idea.
What? Okay, I'm sorry. I can't help but look at this man and think about the meltdown he recently just fucking had. If this is the same destiny. Yeah, this man's meltdown recently was fucking glorious.
Creators discover both, it makes for an interesting watch.
In 3 years, we only drove the car 6,000 miles. So, if that gives you any idea.
To be fair, this man's girlfriend's boyfriend, this man's wife's boyfriend has rode her for just as many miles.
In 3 years, we only drove the car 6,000 miles. So if that gives you any idea.
He what? He leased a car for $400 or $500 a month, and he's only drove it 6,000 miles in 3 years? Why?
Cherry Dude's like, oh, you could have engine damage. No, Cherry Dude, that's not how it works. BMW has a diagnosis computer inside of the car that tells you when things go wrong. So if there were engine damage...
Oh my god! Hey, this guy is a living meme! No, it's not. BMW has diagnosis computer in the car, okay?
And they never,
Nah, they're not.
they never contacted us to get it changed.
Why would they contact you to change your oil? What?
Destiny, the person reacting to Phil's explanation, calls Phil the salesman stream. Wanting to help Phil out, Destiny jumped onto Phil's stream and began typing in his chat, attempting to provide financial advice. Phil, of course, ignored this, and on his forums he posted, quote,
everything.
Destiny, a Twitch streamer who I never even heard of before 2 weeks ago, came into my chat and practically begged me to stop what I'm doing and talk with him. What the fuck can this guy tell me about buying cars that I don't already know? This guy probably didn't know
probably
I
a
went
lot.
to school for finance. Unquote. Phil, still in the mindset of discussing the drama around the networks, was talking about it on stream.
I trusted YouTube system to work properly.
Mustang, or I'd love to own a
Here's what happened.
Jaguar.
So
Jaguars.
that was Monday, I think Monday morning or whatever. Okay.
I can't drive.
I think uh-oh.
It's a walk rhyme for me to drive.
Hold on 1 second, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm getting an important phone call. Folks, I've got a family emergency. It came out of nowhere, and I have to deal with it now. So guess what? Sadly, the podcast has to end. I can't finish my story right now.
Phil had received a call from Pandalee's job. She had experienced an anxiety attack and was being driven to the hospital by paramedics. Phil then met her at the hospital after picking up her car. He found her in a sedated state, and after a 3-hour-long wait, they released her with no additional treatment. Frustrated at the lack of attentiveness, Phil said,
So now she's zonked out. She's sleeping, in the room because of, everything. She's still on the pills that made her all loopy or whatever. So, and we did, on the way home, I stopped and we got food. We grabbed like chicken sandwiches and we just ate them and now she's sleeping. So that's what happened. Unbelievable. Like, oh my God. The thing is, I know if this ever happens again, I'm going to tell them, you are not allowed to bring her to the hospital. No, you get no permission to fucking do it. You can't give her a pill. You want to give her a pill. And that's it, because you're just going to waste our time again. You didn't help us at all.
To some, this looked like Phil was dismissing Pandalee's issues or minimizing them, which is what he was now getting backlash for. What they didn't know is that Phil and Pandalee had broken up some time before the anxiety attack, which is also a possible factor that may have induced it.
That doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't goddamn fucking matter. If you broke up, but you here's the thing. I'm not one of those people who believes that if you break up with a chick, dependent on how the breakup goes, you can't still be happy, cordial, and be friends with that girl. I don't necessarily believe that you can't do that, especially if it's an amicable breakup. Like, it's just like you just drifted apart, right? It was just over time, it just didn't work out, right? But you can still be friends. I do believe that is something that can at least be done. But you just don't fucking do that, yo. That is just inhuman.
He announced this at the end of May. Now, for the first time ever, Phil was in Washington in complete isolation. Mockingly, a few dating adverts were made to remedy his newfound loneliness. Then there was a song request.
89.7 KACC, we got a dedication in. These kids and their names, I swear. So, DarksydePhil wants to dedicate a song to Pandalee. He wants to dedicate Baby Come Back by Player. I don't know what to say, guys. Okay, so, anyway, here's Baby Come Back by Player, and they actually wanted me to say Baby Come Back, I don't get it.
that poor fucking radio host. Oh my God, that poor fucking radio host.
I really don't get it with these kids. But yes, DarksydePhil, here's your dedication to Pandalee.
In many ways, Phil was defeated, but he would not be Phil
God
if he was persistent in getting others to dislike him. On his Twitch chat, a place only the current viewers are meant to see, Phil, in jealousy of popular creator iJustine, typed, Quote, iJustine is busy getting gangbanged by EA executive staff all weekend. The only fucking reason she was actually hired in the first place, lol, unquote. Prominent detractor accounts took this screenshot and were quick to not only spread it on Twitter, but also tag iJustine in it.
Yes.
To much surprise, iJustine responded, quote, why don't you stop spamming everyone? He clearly has issues, unquote. And Phil did have issues. For 10 years, Phil has had a dream job meant to provide a steady, easy income, while allowing one to work within their own set hours. Phil, on the other hand, had nothing to show for his near decade-long residence. The stinking fact was he lost far more than he gained, and for a period he seemed starkly aware. Quote, I haven't had real in-person social interaction on a regular basis since like 2007, before YouTube started. Once I started YouTube, that all went away. That's part of the sacrifices I keep bringing up to make this work. I can't have regular friends with the amount of time I put into this job. When I lived in CT, I had tons of money. As soon as I moved out here, poof, gone, unquote. It is clear that he regrets his move, but he cannot accept it is his fault. That's when people ask if he maintains social relationships. Quote, I talk to tons of people on a daily basis. A user then asks, I mean like relationships or friends outside of Twitch. Phil responds, I don't have time for in-person friends. I'm constantly working. You realize I haven't had a day off since my time off in July, right? This is my life, and has been for quite a long time before I moved out here.
Kinda sad.
Then it got better for 3 years living with my ex. But now I'm back to square one, really. Unquote. As recoiled as Phil was, dealing with persistent copyright strikes and whatever else his life brought him, he clung onto whatever was left of his following. Typical in periods lacking interest, trolls are more likely to find entertainment from consuming one another. The reality of communities like the one that works against DSP is that they are far more nuanced that they lead on. From the outside looking in, the detractor community is powerful in coordinating their campaigns against Phil. In actuality, it is very divided. Some hate Phil, some just want to catch up periodically. The majority don't interact in any way. These differences create cyclical arguments, for example, those wanting no universal interaction with Phil. Some reasons may lie in entertainment, as Phil's passive failings tend to be the most entertaining. They could also just be aware that putting themselves out personally will lead to ridicule in a space that exploits any weakness. Or they simply feel sympathetic to his plight. On the other end, you'll have those that want interaction with Phil. These can be small by typing messages in his chat to get a reaction or requesting a song on the radio. That is the simple basis of trolling. The overall effects are minimal and hardly controversial. Then you have those that feel personally slighted by Phil and seek revenge. This is where the illegitimate copyright strikes come from. They want Phil to fail in any way, and few strategies are out of their purview. Truly, the only defense in this space is self-awareness and anonymity. These members lack both. And the most interesting part is all these people inhabit the same space. Whether it be the forums or Phil's chat, they can be seen arguing endlessly. It is only a community of convenience.
I have never ever once posted anything on Kiwi Farms, so I've never had a need to.
Nothing else. That's why it may look like the sons of Kojima would sit on top of this virtual hierarchy, but in actuality, the only thing they have claim to is they're the ones most dedicated to Phil. The group watches his streams for hours at a time to no benefit other than that claim. They are united by an overweight, middle-aged, failing, ailing creator. They were persistently hated within the detractor communities because they, being allowed to exist in their space, somewhat represented their community, albeit not accurately. Most dedicated channels, Twitter pages, and groups made for the sole purpose of following Phil are highly scrutinized, and if they become obsessed to the point they no longer represent any niche, they will always fail. That's why the Sons of Kojima collapsed in late 2017. Their leader, Fred Fox, was highly paranoid, morally confused, overall an oblivious individual. Though he was responsible for countless hours of footage criticizing Phil, he would crumble and get frustrated at even just his Encyclopedia Dramatica. These pages are known to be full of purposely inaccurate and exaggerative information to get a rise from who they're targeting. And his frustration from its creation further warranted its existence, as seen here where he is lambasting the creator of the page.
So how about this? I'll go fuck your mother for the laws and everything will be cool, right? No hard feelings?
I guess
Yeah,
if you want to
there you
like
go.
twist,
For the laws.
if you just want to twist my logic into black and white, there, sure.
No, I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying you could do something if it's just for the laws. Nobody's supposed to get mad or offended. It's just
That's not what I'm
law.
saying. I'm saying you shouldn't take fucking Encyclopedia page Dramatica, seriously.
No, at all.
There were also times when they invited Mr. Medicare on, a creator well known for his banter.
Okay, how much money would it take, this is for all of you, for one of you to suck Phil's cock? What is the donation amount that would be required for you to get on your knees and orally pleasure Phil?
Whoever asked that, fuck you.
That means he's considering a number. You went silent because you.
I'm not gonna answer because I'm not interested in that. That's fucked up.
So you're telling me you're not gonna suck a dick for $10 million?
No.
Really? You wouldn't suck a dick? You wouldn't get on your knees and slurp up some mayonnaise for 10 million fucking dollary dues?
I don't want to lose my dignity.
Who gives a shit about dignity? You got $10 million in the bank. You can make people forget with the money. You can black hole that shit on the internet. Does the thought of Phil gently rubbing your hair as he comes in your mouth, does that bother you that much?
What the fuck?
Dude.
This
What the fuck,
is so wrong on so many levels.
Well, there you go. They refused to answer. But if you notice, when I asked that question, they all went silent because they were thinking of a number. Every one of them was thinking of a number.
Some comments under this near 50-minute long video read, quote, Christ, without any DSP material to commentate over or talk about, these guys just got nothing. That's some weapons-grade humiliation. Christ, these guys are awkward. It makes me want to like Phil if these are his trolls. Unquote. On
He
forums,
did. He
there is a
slaughtered them.
tremendous
And
amount
that
of
wasn't
information
Fred he was
detailing
slaughtering.
Fred's paranoia, his coordinated attacks at former and current members, his group's campaign of copyright striking DSP via fan art, and his attempts to regulate the community besides deciding what is and isn't allowed to be monetized on the
Then they
basis
lost
of
their
moral
dignity
superiority
anyway.
over
Exactly,
Phil.
Venom.
His antics and strange history are also entertaining. That was another reason why he was exposed and why there are over 2,000 posts discussing him. What mattered to Phil was that his most persistent detractor group was no more. And on September 2017, he released a twitlonger about it. It is here that Phil revealed that Panelli's father was swatted in the past. This to him made it clear that no one in proximity to him was safe. This is the reason why he claims to have skipped Panelli's brother's wedding. Quote, what did the SOK do? Well, first, they decided to find out the address and date of the wedding. Yes, that's entirely true. They're so fucking sick that they, on their own and without my mentioning it for months, researched and found the event, and then spread that info all over the internet. They then decided to spin it that the reason we weren't attending was because I had to force Leanna to skip it so I can stay home and play Fallout 4 to make money. They actually accused me of keeping her at home forcefully. It couldn't have been further from the truth. It was the crippling fear that the SOK themselves, who found the damn date and address of the wedding, would have swatted the wedding. That made us stay home. So not only were they the reason we missed the wedding, they then turned their own vile actions into a way to make us look bad after the fact. It's mind-numbing, isn't it? Unquote. After the fall of the Sons of Kojima, there was a rise in more passive trolling. On Phil's forums, there was a crop-up of clear catfishes that had all miraculously turned 18 years old at the time. Then there was a treasure map made of the place.
See, there's the problem. There's the problem with these catfishes. There's the problem with these catfishes. Phil doesn't like it when they're freshly 18. He likes them when they're under 18.
Miraculously turned 18 years old at the time. Then there was a pirate-themed treasure map made of the places Phil frequented and it was often thought to enjoy, with the inclusion of health foods and a gym placed just out of his reach due to the uncrossable bridge of certain death. On Instagram, there was a new strategy of trolling through indifference. No matter what picture Phil posted, there was bound to be tens, if not hundreds of comments stating two words. Well, really just one word with two variations. Comments were either okay or okay. Without fail, these cropped up and overwhelmed any other comment. Even just comments wanting to understand what was going on were met with a single response, okay. Phil even treated his audience to a pretty unique unboxing video.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil here, and welcome to a pretty unique unboxing video.
Phil thought that this video was unique because of what he was unboxing. What made it unique was for the first 3 minutes, his reflection was easily visible, and he was doing two things. He was swaying left and right, and he was doing his famous T-pose. Phil had swayed much in the past,
trying to assert dominance over the box.
First-person view. He claims it is because of back issues.
Fucking Christ!
The snorting is blamed on what DSP claims is a post-nasal drip. The snorting plays into his depiction of a pig. Combined with his ability to remain online and survive like a cockroach came the derisive nickname Pig Roach. His laugh, his sway, his snorts, all could be, and some more, made into several minute-long compilations of Phil doing these singular actions. Phil doing these actions in tandem would also gain purchase. Then there were two food-related items that always got viewers' attention. The first was sparked by this tweet where DSP states he likes penne. What he means is he likes the pasta, but in Spanish, penne means penis. The last item viewers took note in was his drink of choice.
I think gin and tonic is my drink of choice. Not every single day, but I do have a gin and tonic or two every once in a while, maybe a few times a week at night to unwind, especially if it's been a stressful day or if my back's hurting me. And, yes, I do have a drink.
I picked this up in Mexico.
Some gin and tonic. I'll start the night right with a sip.
Mezcal.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. I have a drink tonight. I have a gin and tonic next to me, which I'll be sipping from time to time. I won't be downing the whole thing.
The bottle is in the shape
It was
of
not
a
often that
jaguar
Phil
fucking
drank on
head.
stream.
It's so cool.
However, this proclivity did extend outside of his stream.
I took a shot of this.
Sometimes the bottle or mixed drinks made his way into his vacation videos.
Overtakes
everything else here, including the gin, which I'll probably drink mixed with
fucking
that
drink that tastes almost like paint for the.
To indulge so much cost Phil a fair bit. But now, in addition to owing money to credit card companies and the like, he, in September, found that he owed money to a fierce collector.
I get this letter, all right? I get this letter, and the letter says, we suspect that you are doing business in the state of Washington under the name DSP Gaming, okay? We believe that you need to register and pay state business and occupation taxes.
You do. That's the problem, Phil. You were running a business. You are a self-employed content creator. That is a business. Doesn't he straight up also turn around and say that in his tax forms as well?
Please answer all of these questions for us.
Yes, I did. I visited
Phil, since he moved to Washington, had not been paying state taxes. He claims the reason behind this is because he continued to list the services of his accountant from Connecticut.
To clear the air here, because a lot of people have misconceptions, my tax attorney in the state of Connecticut was a certified public accountant, was a dean of accounting at a college for several years, and was one of the highest accredited guys in the state of Connecticut. This is not some Joe Schmo asshole who I just got. And by the way, I paid this guy thousands of dollars to do my taxes, all right? I think the most he ever charged me was like over $1,500 one year to do my taxes properly.
The importance of this is now Phil was claiming to owe state taxes since 2014, stacking yet another reason why 2017 was the year that finally doomed Phil financially. But at least he wasn't bankrupt. The grander and more dramatic reveal this year was of his new girlfriend. Yet the reveal photos only show the back of her head. Phil, to be able to hide a relationship for this long was surprising. A reason for only showing the back of her head was that Phil was slowly starting to separate his personal and online life, meaning that
he should have fucking kept it that way, dumbass.
There would no longer be condo tours
or
virtually any videos outside of his office.
I'm not calling Joon
save for a few additional DSP tries at videos, like his attempt to recreate the virality of his Axe body scrubber video. This could only be beneficial. It wouldn't allow viewers to analyze his new purchases, his eating habits, anything that can be used against him, or even the people around him. Keeping Kat anonymous was likely Phil's attempt to protect her, though it did have its weakness and was immediately exploited.
So they fabricate this story that I hired an escort to come visit me during my Christmas
the
break.
PS1 fucking
thousands of
the
dollars
PS1 Phil is killing
thousands
me.
of dollars apparently. I don't even know what the full story is because I'm not really following it.
Well, true to her word, Kimberly did know where to release that information too. Over on the forum, Kiwi Farms, a mysterious woman shows up to elaborate on what's going on.
In December 2017, a mysterious woman claiming to be a high-end escort with a history with Phil was claiming that Phil had not paid her, and if she did not receive the money owed, then she would release all the details of the event. And so she did. On Kiwi Farms, she developed a somewhat shallow story of Phil taking her out to dinner and spending a fair amount of money on her. Sprinkled in are notes about his bad credit, his disappointing manhood, and general notes on his house. This reads as too good to be true, as it's hitting the notes that want to be heard, while simultaneously not providing evidence outside of a testimony. The Kiwi Farms users were highly skeptical, but even so were enjoying the chaos this person was causing. But day after day of not providing a single piece of evidence...
Is that the Vault Boy that I think it is?
and users finding strange inconsistencies in her story, it was clear that the pieces were not fitting. It was only after users discovered that the images were not of this person's origin that she comes out and says she was hacked. It was not her at all. It was a catfish using her Twitter with stolen images. But no one was convinced. As a final Hail Mary, this person attempted to shift the blame on Fred Fox of the defunct Sons of Kojima by taking down their website and bringing it back up with the simple Fred Fox in the heading. It was not until this fake escort's identity was found under a different name, Angelina Capri, that the true culprits were unmasked. It was quite easy to find the domain registry, and with it came the identity. The culprits quickly tried to amend this information, but it had already been archived. The original registry had their full name, address, phone number, and their email. This gave the Kiwi Farms users everything they needed, and soon the culprits were fully doxxed, including their cat. Revealed and archived was their personal YouTube channel.
That poor fucking cat!
Were fully doxxed, including their cat.
The cat is innocent, damn it!
Revealed and archived was their personal YouTube channel, one of their daughter's YouTube channels, Twitters, photo buckets, a lengthy history of information that was more than enough anyone needed to confirm this married couple ran an extortion and impersonation racket. They had a history of impersonating beautiful women and using their images to create profiles on adult websites where the wife would livestream her real body and pleasure herself, but only reveal her lower half as to not spoil the ruse. It was only when they tried to extort Phil through a different tactic and interact with his highly paranoid community that this was all discovered. If there was any doubt left, Phil would cave in and reveal his girlfriend Kat, who moved in shortly after.
Number one, like I said, it's the best relationship I've ever been in my life. Okay.
You Pandally?
I feel like she's my soulmate. I do. I truly do. And I am in love with her. Absolutely. She's in love with me. And if she were to move in, number one, she has a job that she, you know, can probably find a job out here similar or whatever and make income to help immediately. Number two, cooking and everything, helping with the responsibilities of the house so I can get back to how I was.
And cook Kat did. The pair seemed well off. Even if Kat did appear awkward and uninteractive on stream, her uncombativeness was welcome. Where this Kat reveal caused relief...
This is not a reveal video, this is a hostage situation!
The next Kat reveal only brought frustration. What Phil was currently revealing was a sponsorship from OP Seats. The same day Phil revealed it, OP Seats terminated their contract with Phil due to the backlash they were getting.
So let's talk, because I want to tell you the full story of how I basically obtained sponsorship, and then all of a sudden, because of the actions of trolls, the sponsorship is now gone, okay?
Even so, in February, Phil procured a different sponsor but remained with a similar product of a gaming chair. Gaming chairs across the board are disreputable for their style of function. That was not the only reason SpawnSeats, the sponsor of Phil, was getting backlash. As it was discovered, this new company was not really a company at all. It was a person drop-shipping cheap gaming chairs with an inflated price. So not only did this new sponsorship fall through, the company attached to it failed along with it. Phil was hardly sympathetic.
Fact of the matter is, folks, it doesn't really affect me because guess what? I mean, I got the chair. I got the chair already. That's why I didn't do a liquid promotion until I got the chair. And I talked to the guy up front about this, the possibility of nasty shit happening. And he said, no, I understand. Don't worry, we'll put up with it. It is what it is, guys.
As much as detractors work to spoil his mood, they could hardly compete with the natural
No. The company would have fell through anyway, Porsche. Like he just turned around and said, it was just a dude taking chairs and marking the price up.
Well, interactions Phil has, like with this 11-year-old on VR chat.
Oh, Lord.
Sure, where is the waiting room?
Right behind you, idiot. You click on that.
You didn't have to call me an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, if you look around, you would have been able to know. It literally says waiting room on top of it.
Wow. You're quite rude.
Wow. I'm 11. Deal with it.
Good, now I'm away from that annoying fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life if they talked to me like that.
No, you fucking wouldn't have. No, you
I would have
have.
fucking pimp slapped that shit out of that.
This Pokemon-themed pixel art was made to commemorate the occasion. These small moments carried Phil's live streams for 2018.
That's fucking genius. That is fucking genius. That... I've never seen that before.
Nothing individually significant
That's
happening,
brilliant.
but enough happening to remind the internet of his existence. This all hardly competed with ongoing events, relative to the collaboration between popular live streamer Ninja and popular musician Drake. DSP was practically non-existent. Until he began tweeting about their collaboration, starting by calling Drake and Ninja overrated. Phil sought to detract from this collaboration, from the likes of which were rarely, if ever, seen. Tweet after tweet, he argued with Twitter users. At some point, he even slighted PewDiePie, claiming he is a product of hype and not quality content. Either these interactions struck a chord, or Phil was just in many prominent content creators' minds, as in not-so-quick succession, they took their turns mocking Phil. Like iDubbbz promoting the idea of Phil doing a collaboration with any rapper.
I don't want to hear it from iCooks.
In the background, there were leaks about Phil wanting to take down a video that for a short moment mentioned the escort saga. But in the foreground was PewDiePie.
You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looked like. Onion Man versus Soy Boy.
iJustine was goaded into another response from the same quote. And Phil finally also made it into a Watch Mojo video.
This Twitch user had the bad idea of prematurely turning on his camera.
Oh no!
Right before starting the live stream, he gives himself a short break to relax.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
There was a renaissance of sorts in ways creators were able to make Phil entertaining. Few as creative as El Crimson King.
This fucking song!
This disc? You see this fucking piece of garbage disc?
Oh no!
Fuck it. It's gonna stay back there forever. I'm never fucking picking it up again. Don't ever ask me to play that fucking game again. That's the worst fucking game. That game is way worse than Revolution 60. Seriously.
Behind you, idiot. You click on that.
You didn't have to call me an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
This video
I
would be
can love
honored
that
by
puppet.
the creation of its own snore compilation. This emphasis
fucking
on
love
creative
that
ways
puppet.
to mock Phil made the latter half of 2018 appear
I wanna buy that
creatively bankrupt
puppet.
in comparison. In the same vein, Phil was also suffering from his own potential bankruptcy.
Basically, in a nutshell, without going into too much detail, I'm not partnered anymore.
In July, he announced that he had split from Curse, claiming the separation to be amicable. Now, having to rely on his own, unsuspended assets account, Phil found that he was making far less than he was with his partnership. On top of this, his views were halved without explanation, going from an average of 2 million a month to hovering just around 1 million. And so Phil did what he calls an emergency livestream, trying to brainstorm ways and goad sympathetic viewers to help with donations. Provided was also advice. A common recommendation is to get a job outside of content creation.
Get a
Phil,
job,
not wanting to
pretty
consider
much.
this option, had these messages delivered in rather creative ways. Phil, being a fan of the WWE, reacted to this person holding up a sign that reads, quote, DSP get a job, unquote.
Beautiful.
This was not even the first time this happened. Last year, a person held up a similar sign, though less legible. Phil opting to continue streaming to a dwindling audience would suffer the consequences of dealing with his remaining audience. These are superfans that stuck with him regardless of countless examples of
Wales.
Phil's ill will, and on the other side are his most persistent trolls that remain even after the majority of trolls lost interest in Phil's cyclical nature. On the other side was a user known as Student Common, or TUT for short. They came in donating thousands of dollars, but also used the money they donated as leverage
I fucking love this animation of Tutankhamun.
as they could circumvent what will get a normal person banned simply because of their influence. But even Tut pushed this beyond what Phil could endure. After creating
Look at
much
that,
unwanted
a
attention
super
for
chat.
Phil and
Damn, how many times has he lost all his cash?
Multiple fucking times, Blade. Multiple times. Thank you for the $2 super chat.
Phil pushing back,
Multiple fucking
Tut threatened to charge back the money he donated. A chargeback is when someone donates money, gets the desired effect of having the streamer read their message, and then, in a later date, petitions PayPal or whatever financial medium they're using to get their money back. This is done by stating that the money was fraudulently sent or by other dishonest means.
Times can you
And
count?
Tut did try to charge back some of that money, only to fail as PayPal sided with Phil. This was a victory for Phil, but in the grand scheme of how much he was bound to owe, it didn't seem like much.
In addition to my normal income, I need to raise about another roughly $16,000 between now and April.
This plays into why Phil is labeled as an e-beggar, a person that petitions, guilts, or even demands donations from their audience. While it is normal for streamers to subtly stimulate donations through appreciation, Phil's tactics.
Yeah, that's right. Appreciation. You know, I'm not feeling really fucking appreciated right now.
Are more direct.
Taxes are going to be my main thing I have to figure out this year. Making enough money not only to pay the bills, but my taxes are coming up, and right now I'm focused on just getting through this year.
Fucking it ain't even Saul. It's just fucking. It's a hammer.
I'll be honest with you guys. Yeah, taxes are always something that are on my mind. You know, I've got tax payments due. You know, my state taxes are due in January. My federal taxes are due in April. If I could get through paying the taxes for next year, the federal taxes, their taxes were high. Things like tip goals and the like on stream to try to raise funds for my taxes and all that.
This very much works. And
okay. Before I fucking just commit like the cardinal sin of going and watching all this fucking video, because again, it is now midnight. The taxes. The hand thing means the taxes. That's what we're gonna cut it off for today, ladies and gentlemen. And I will finish this up next week, because again, there's a reason there's a part 2, because I knew this is a near 4-hour fucking video. It's like Tekken. It's like the Tekken video. It's 8 fucking hours, and there's no way I'd be able to sit through that in one go. That's like a whole month of fucking videos. Hold on. This is how you don't play Tekken, because the Tekken 8 thing, that's gonna be added to the later. This is how you the week of fighters I plan to do for Phil, and yeah, it's 8.5 hours long. That's a whole fucking month of videos. Oh Christ! All right, but with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna end it for today. I'm gonna go and get some sleep, because this man is not worth ruining my sleepover. And I will see you all next week for the continuation of this. I would say it's good to be back. I would say, oh wait, hey Slayer, if you think that one's bad, there's that one, but then there's also this one. Hold on, there's also this one. Or is it? There you go. I'm gonna leave it on there for you, Slayer. I would turn around and say that it is good to be back, but that would just be a bold-faced fucking lie, because I gotta deal with fucking Phil. Alright, so I will see all of you either on my Let's Play channel, or I'll see you next week. So I'm just waiting for Slayer's reaction, so I can go and sleep peacefully, knowing that he is upset. Oh no, that's Gohan. That isn't Goku, that's Gohan. Anyway, talk to you later, guys.